I'm pretending to cultivate immortality in kindergarten. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201 Departure. Little He Qing on the other side excitedly finished her call with Lin Sehengren, and then she got up from the bed in her pink strawberry patterned pajamas. She opened the bedroom door, quietly poked her head out, and listened to the silence in the living room. But her mother was already making breakfast in the kitchen, cooking noodles. Little He Qing swallowed her saliva and walked over slowly and quietly. After all, she had just returned home for 3 days and was leaving soon, so she still had to coax her mother. "Mom, are you making breakfast? Let me help you." "What? You scared me. Why are you walking so quietly?" Little He Qing blinked innocently. He Qing's mother said, "Are you up? No need to help. What do you need to help with in the morning? We're having spare ribs at noon today. You can help me then. Go wash up and get ready for breakfast." Little He Qing didn't say anything. "Well, what's wrong? Is there anything else?" He Qing's mother looked at her daughter. Little He Qing laughed, clasping her hands in front of her. "It's a little thing." He Qing's mother stared at her daughter in confusion. After all, she was her own daughter. As soon as she saw her smile, she knew what her daughter was up to. Nowadays, many parents hope that their daughters can get married as soon as possible after graduation, for fear that they can't find a boyfriend. Especially if the girl is a bit of a homebody and doesn't like to see people, it's even more distressing. But He Qing's mother is not worried about this at all. She knows very well that her daughter's heart was seduced by a boy when she was a child. Obviously, her daughter is honest and doesn't like to make friends, but she has always had someone in her heart since she was a child. Little He Qing blinked her pure almond eyes and whispered, "Mom, I want to take a cart to find Lin Sehengren today. Is it okay? Is this a small matter? I knew you wanted to go to the north again." He Qing's mother frowned slightly. "Can you really not leave Lin Sehengren?" Little He Qing pursed her lips. She said to herself, "You can't live without me, but you can't live without him." "Listen." Mom rolled her eyes at Little He Qing. "You're not ashamed, as if you've already married him." Little He Qing stuck out her tongue. She thought, what's the difference? Anyway, she'll be with Lin Sehengren for the rest of her life. Whether she marries him or not, she's his. He Qing's mother let out a long sigh, and she was used to it. After thinking for a while, she said, okay, but didn't you say you were going on a trip with him next week? If you're going on a trip, you have to pack your luggage, right? How about going tomorrow? Pack your luggage today. It won't cost you another day. I'll go shopping with you and bring some things to your Aunt Lin. Not bad, Little He Qing quickly replied. A day is a long time, and I've already packed my luggage last night, so I don't need to pack it again. When I get to the north, I can just buy things for Aunt Lin myself. Ah. Have you packed your luggage? He Qing's mother turned off the kitchen fire and went to her daughter's bedroom to check. He Qing brought the suitcase over. Mom bent down and patted the full suitcase, and sure enough, she saw that the suitcase had been packed. "When did you pack this?" "How come I didn't know?" He Qing whispered. "I packed it last night. I put all the clothes and daily necessities in there. It took me the whole night to pack." He Qing's mother was really helpless. Although He Qing was timid, her expression was full of confidence. "Is it okay, Mom?" He Qing's mother pinched her waist and stared at her daughter. After the mother and daughter looked at each other for a while, the mother said, "Go and tell your grandma too." Little He Qing became happy. "Thank you, Mom. Actually, I will come back after the trip. I won't stay in the north forever. I will miss you and Grandma there." After saying that, He Qing kissed her mother on the cheek, and then took out the clothes she had picked last night from the closet. A gray pleated skirt and a white long-sleeved top. He Qing's mother smiled and shook her head, and continued to cook without caring about her daughter. Little He Qing changed her clothes, combed her hair that had been washed last night, and tied her thick long hair into a beautiful ponytail. Every time she finished tying her hair, she would shake her head, and the ponytail would shake with it, which was very touching. After putting on her shoes, she secretly grabbed the door frame and poked her head out of the bedroom, and saw her mother serving noodles in the kitchen. Little He Qing suddenly blushed and closed the bedroom door, went to a box in a corner of the closet, and took out 2 sets of white stockings from it. These white stockings were ads she accidentally saw when she was shopping on her mobile phone the day before yesterday. Little He Qing had never worn stockings before, So she was very curious about what the effect would be when she wore them, especially whether Lin Sehengren would like them. She chose a pair of white stockings and asked the customer service when she bought them. What is the quality of this sock? Can it be torn apart easily? She remembered the plots in the novels that Wenwen had shown her before. The customer service seemed to be accustomed to it. Stockings are easy to tear apart, dear, but ours are for daily wear. If you need that kind, I can recommend a product to you. The customer service sent a link to sexy stockings. Little He Qing blushed and immediately sent a message. No, no. I don't buy this kind of thing, thank you. Then she looked at the link sent by the store and changed to another store to buy a pair of sexy stockings, just in case. In the end, the 2 pairs of white stockings in her hand were 1 pair for normal wear and 1 pair for sexy, with slightly different styles. The reason why I didn't put them in the suitcase last night was because I was afraid that my mother might check the suitcase just now, and I didn't know how embarrassing it would be if she found such things. At this moment, I put both pairs of stockings in the hidden corner of the suitcase. Little He Qing went to her grandmother's bedroom and knocked on the door and went in. Grandma, I'm going to travel to the north and will be back in a while. He Qing's grandmother had also gotten up and was getting dressed. Xiao Qingqing, are you leaving again? Didn't you just come back? Well, there's something going on. I'll be back in a few days. When I'm there, I'll still call Grandma and Mom. After saying that, she ran over and kissed her grandmother's face. Just then, she pulled a suitcase out of the bedroom. Mom, I'm leaving. He Qing's mother put the bowl on the table. You don't even want to eat breakfast? At least have breakfast. Why are you in such a hurry? Little He Qing blinked. I'll just buy something on the way. It'll be a bit late after breakfast. He Qing's mother had no choice but to send her daughter out of the house. Little He Qing pulled the suitcase. She smiled and waved to her mother. Then I'm leaving. He Qing's mother looked at her daughter's infatuation. If it was just a temporary enthusiasm, she could understand it, but it has been so many years, and it seems that her daughter's love for Lin Sehengren has never changed, and it has even become stronger and stronger. Qingqing, is Sehengren still as good to you in high school as when you were a child? She asked this question out of the blue. Little He Qing looked at her mother and grinned. Yeah, just like when we were kids. You're so nice to me, but she's a little bit of a playboy. Auntie knew whether this was true or not from her daughter's expression. She patted her daughter's head and said with relief, remember to buy some things for your Aunt Lin and Uncle Lin when you get there. When you graduate from college and get married, you'll have a long time to spend together. Then you can bring Lin Sehengren over to play when you have time. Mom will cook him some delicious food then. Little He Qing blushed and nodded. After saying goodbye, she left the house with her suitcase. She sent a message to Lin Sehengren at the same time. Chapter 202 I Can Promise Anything. Lin Sehengren, I'm leaving. I'll take a picture of me leaving. I'll call you when I'm almost there. Lin Sehengren quickly replied. Got it. I'm just taking a nap. Tell me if you have anything to say. Okay. Go to sleep. Little He Qing took a taxi to the station, while Lin Sehengren, who was in a small northern town, was lying on the bed looking at his phone. He thought that if He Qing was coming, the travel time could actually be advanced a little, and then he could play in the mountains for 2 more days. He put down his phone, covered himself with a quilt, and was just about to close his eyes for a while. As a result, the phone rang again, and Lin Sehengren thought that this girl had something to do again. It turned out that it was not He Qing who called this time, but Zhang Zuli. Lin Sehengren picked up the phone. Hello? What do you want to do again? Zhang Zuli's arrogant tone came out of the phone, which was very different from He Qing's coquettish voice just now. Even if she was shy, she felt full of energy. What do you mean by what again? I didn't send you a message today, and this is the first time I called you after the holiday. Why does it seem like I've been talking to you for a long time today? Wait, didn't He Qing call you just now? Sundir's alert nerves were activated. Lin Sehengren looked at the ceiling. You are so smart. Is there something wrong? I knew it, Zhang Zuli stammered after being jealous. I have nothing to do. Can't I call you? I am your girlfriend, the closest relationship. Can't I just call you? Okay, but don't I know you? You rarely call me unless you have something to do, mostly text messages. Zhang Zuli sighed. That's right, you are really right. After all, you are mine. Don't I know it? Zhang Zuli was shy. It's a pity that you can always say such shameful words with confidence. You are shameless. After that, Zhang Zuli secretly smiled with a red face on the other side of the phone. After coughing twice to adjust her state, she said, do you have time today? I want to get a haircut, can you accompany me? Haircut. 10 minutes later Lin Sahengren came down from upstairs. Jiang Zuli, who was wearing jeans and short-sleeved shirt, was playing with her hair at the entrance of the community with one hand. Her long hair was spinning around between her fingers as she was thinking about something. When she saw Lin Sahengren coming down, she waved excitedly at him. Sahengren. I'm here. She ran towards him. Lin Sahengren saw the length of Jiang Zuli's hair, which was only halfway to her waist. Isn't it still not long? Do you still need to cut it? Jiang Zuli held up a ponytail. It's not long, but it's not just a haircut. I mainly want to dye my hair this time. Have you forgotten that you said I would look good with yellow hair in the first year of high school? I still remember it until now, and I'm waiting to dye it after graduating from high school. Lin Sahengren smiled inexplicably. Jiang Zuli clenched her fists and asked in confusion, why are you laughing suddenly? Have you forgotten? No, I'll go with you. He walked forward, and Jiang Zuli followed him in confusion, catching up with his footsteps. Then what were you laughing at just now? What are you talking about? You make me feel weird. I was just thinking that this day has finally come. How cute you will become after dyeing your hair yellow. I have been curious since I was very young. Really? You are so curious. Well, after all, yellow is the standard color of tsundere. You have finally evolved into complete form. Jiang Zuli put her hands behind her back and followed him with a grin. What tsundere? I'm not at tsundere. Tsunderes are all losers. I am a winner. Lin Sahengren reached out and touched the girl's head. Jiang Zuli was so embarrassed that she felt that the big hand on her head stopped talking. During the stroking, she wanted to hold Lin Sahengren's hand that was touching her head. But Lin Sahengren took his hand back. When the two people's hands touched, Lin Sahengren glanced at her. Jiang Zuli looked aside awkwardly and took back her hand. What's wrong? Why are you looking at me? Lin Sahengren snorted and continued to walk forward. While walking side by side, Jiang Zuli looked at his hand close to her side quietly, and tried to touch it with the back of his hand, wanting to hold his hand. Lin Sahengren looked at her again at this time, and she quickly looked away. After the third back of hand touch, Lin Sahengren stopped teasing her and held her hand with his back hand. Jiang Zuli was stunned and bit her lip shyly without saying a word. She interlocked her fingers with his and laughed secretly happily. Sahengren, what have you been doing at home these days? Why don't you have time to play or something? I've been a little busy these 2 days. My mom and dad took me to visit relatives, and there were a lot of things in the company that I didn't have time to deal with before the college entrance examination. I went through them all these 2 days, Jiang Zuli said distressedly. So busy? I thought you were resting these days. Is there anything I can help with? No, I'll go to the company the day after tomorrow to discuss some important things with Jiang Jingxi. In fact, she has done a lot of things for me, so it's not that busy. 2 days will be enough, Jiang Zuli tried to imagine. Then if you are tired, tell me, I can learn to give you a massage online or let you sleep on my legs or something like that to relieve your stress. Lin Sahengren glanced at her strangely. Jiang Zuli blinked shyly. What's the matter? That's all I can do. I can't help you with other things. If I can help you, I will definitely do it. Lin Sahengren put her hands in her coat pockets. I thought that I didn't need Lily or He Qing for these things. There was a fox who is the best at massage and relaxation. Whenever Lin Sahengren felt a little tired, the fox would basically find a way to relax him. Although he had the blessing of the system, he basically never felt tired. When they arrived at the barber shop, there were quite a lot of people. After the holiday, many students were getting their hair done in the barber shop, especially those who were about to go to college. There were especially many who dyed and permed their hair. Lin Sahengren and Jiang Zuli were stunned to see so many people. The boss asked in the busyness, haircut, Jiang Zuli, dyeing hair. The boss said, you have to wait a little while, there's a girl waiting in line behind. Jiang Zuli thought for a while and whispered, Sahengren, why don't we go somewhere else first and come back to get a haircut later? I have a place I want to go. Where to go? You'll know when you get there. I'll take you there. Jiang Zuli took the lead and took Lin Sahengren to a taxi to a newly opened store in the town, a men's clothing store. The store is quite large and the flow of people looks good. Jiang Zuli said happily, dang dang. This is the place. I saw it when I was shopping with my mother a few days ago. We went in and looked around, and found that many of the clothes inside were very new. So? Are you planning to buy clothes for me? Lin Sahengren was curious. Yes, do you still remember? In the first year of high school, you accompanied me to get a haircut, and we went to get a room. Then I wrinkled your clothes and said I would buy you a new one. Later, I was too busy and had no time. I wanted to buy you one online, but it always felt a bit tasty, so today I plan to take you to choose in person. To show my sincerity, Lin Zhengren wanted to laugh. My dear girlfriend Zhang Zuli, you wrinkled my clothes when you were in the first year of high school, and now you have graduated from the third year. It has been 2 years since this happened. When Zhang Zuli heard her call her like this, her expression was settled and she said shyly, "What can I do? I have always remembered this, but I didn't expect that the second and third years of high school passed so quickly. You were so busy, it seemed like it passed in a flash. It has been put off again and again until now. How about I give you something else besides buying clothes? Take it as my apology, compensation." Zhang Zuli closed her eyes and clenched her other hand into a fist and replied, "Anything is fine. You say one thing and I can agree to anything. Whatever you want." After that, she stared at Lin Zhengren's eyes shyly, stammering, Anyway, I'm your girlfriend, I can agree to anything." Anything. Lin Zhengren looked at Zhang Zuli's funny expression and raised his lips. "It's a deal, anything you say is fine." Zhang Zuli didn't expect Lin Zhengren to agree so straightforwardly, and he kept staring at her, his eyes looking at her hair, and she blushed quickly. "What do you want to do, Zhengren? Don't play me bad. I can agree to anything you want. But you have to be gentle to me." While speaking, she suddenly covered her butt with one hand. It reminded her of Lin Zhengren holding her ponytails. Lin Zhengren deliberately teased her seriously, "Don't worry, people are not so easy to be played bad, I will take my time, let's go buy clothes first." Zhang Zuli was dragged into the clothing store by him, her heartbeat accelerated with shame, and her brain had short-circuited. Thanks to the 500 starting coins rewarded by the boss of I Won't Say Anything. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 The Vigilant Little Fox and Lily with Thoughts. Lin Zhengren pulled Zhang Zuli, whose cheeks were burning. The images in someone's mind were all about a certain night when Lin Zhengren mercilessly attacked her. She secretly looked at Lin Zhengren's profile, her mind full of yellow garbage. Thinking about which night he was going to do that to her? It wouldn't be tonight. Lin Zhengren didn't talk about this topic anymore, but asked, "You are going to buy me a coat, right?" Zhang Zuli was startled. Lin Zhengren had to reach out and knock her head, forcing her to calm down. "Let's talk about what happened just now when we do it. Why are you thinking about that when you buy clothes now?" Zhang Zuli held her head and wanted to refute, but when she heard a certain word, her face was really about to smoke. "What do you mean by talking about it when you do it?" She gave her head another headbang, and forced herself to calm down again. The female clerk also came over at this time. "What clothes do you want to buy, bottoms or tops?" Lin Zhengren replied, "We can just look for ourselves." The female clerk sighed that the boy was so handsome. It's rare to see a handsome guy at this level. It's a pity that he has a girlfriend. But she still nodded with a slightly red face in front of the handsome guy. "Okay, then you two can ask me any questions after you make your choice." Zhang Zuli's sixth sense after falling in love is also different from before. Now she can vaguely feel that some girls like Lin Zhengren. For example, the look of this clerk just now. Zhang Zuli silently moved closer to Lin Zhengren and declared her sovereignty. However, after 2 brain collapses and calmness, some of the yellow waste in her head was reduced. The two walked to the coat area. Zhang Zuli held Lin Zhengren's hand and checked various coats. "Zhengren, do you prefer gray or white? I feel that these 2 types of clothes are quite suitable for you." Lin Zhengren, "White. My mother bought me a gray one before." "White. Then this one." She took a fancy to very simple white coat, which looked refined and handsome. She took it off and compared it with Lin Zhengren's upper body. She sighed that the clothes looked good. But Zhang Zuli realized something and took a few other clothes in front of Lin Zhengren for quick comparison. It turns out that it's not that the clothes are good looking, but that Lin Zhengren is handsome and has a good figure, so he looks good in anything. Zhang Zuli was proud and helpless. In this way, there is no way to compare the quality of clothes. "I feel that everything he wears is great, Lin Zhengren, just buy whatever you want. I like the ones you just picked." Zhang Zuli shook her head. No, that's too careless. Except for this white one, I just picked the others for comparison." I said that I have to pick carefully when I go shopping for clothes with you. She took note of the white coat and continued to pick to see if there are any better ones. Anyway, He Qing was away these few days, and Zhengren had everything to himself. Lin Zhengren's phone rang at this time. He checked his phone and found that it was from Han Wenwen. The three of them were like working in 3 shifts, one after another. Han Wenwen, has Brother Zhengren woke up? Lin Zhengren replied, I woke up early and went out to accompany Lily shopping. Han Wenwen. The question mark was followed by an emoticon package of a cartoon fox baring its teeth. Han Wenwen. Zhang Zuli took Lin Zhengren's hand and passed a corner. Suddenly, she saw a familiar face. The other person had long hair draped over her shoulders. She was holding a white coat in one hand and playing with her mobile phone in the other hand. Her eyes were staring at the screen of the mobile phone. She was standing there in a dress. It was the figure of the little fox. Han Wenwen turned her head when she heard the voice and unexpectedly found Zhang Zuli and Lin Zhengren. Han Wenwen didn't expect it to be such a coincidence. Brother Zhengren, classmate Lin Zhengren and Lily. Lin Zhengren also saw Han Wenwen, but he didn't expect her to be here too. They both put away their mobile phones silently. Han Wenwen smiled and waved her hand. What a coincidence. Good morning to both of you. After saying that, she saw the two people holding hands, and her heart skipped a beat. Zhang Zuli nodded. What a coincidence. She continued, Zhengren and I came to buy clothes. Why are you here? Me. Han Wenwen said casually, just shopping. Zhang Zuli was puzzled. Shopping. She pointed to the shop signs that could be seen everywhere on the wall. But this is a men's clothing store. You came in here alone to shop? And you are holding a men's jacket in your hand. Who are you buying it for? Han Wenwen looked down and saw the white jacket in her hand, and quickly put it back. In fact, she also wanted to buy a few pieces of Lin Zhengren's clothes as a surprise for him, and they could also be placed in Zhengren's brother's spare wardrobe in her rental house. The two of them talked about this before when they were getting close to each other. Han Wenwen mentioned that she wanted to buy a few pieces of Lin Zhengren's clothes and put them at home for him to use as spare clothes. Han Wenwen smiled awkwardly. After all, it's a newly opened store, so I just came in to take a look, not to buy anything for anyone. Zhang Zuli frowned slightly, and just as the sixth sense of a woman in love was about to be activated, Han Wenwen interrupted and said, Lily, are you going to buy clothes for classmate Lin Zhengren? It just so happens that I have nothing to do today. I will accompany you to have a look. Zhang Zuli's thoughts were diverted by her, and she smiled. Okay, I was just worried about what coat to buy for Zhengren, because he looks good in any coat, but it's hard to choose. Han Wenwen deeply agreed. She also felt so, otherwise she wouldn't have been shopping for a whole morning without buying anything. So naturally, the two girls started to pick clothes for Lin Zhengren together. It is said that 3 women make a play, but in fact, 2 women can already sing the song. Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen began to have a heated discussion about what clothes Lin Zhengren wore that were more special. They even analyzed them one by one without getting tired of it. While Han Wenwen was choosing clothes, Zhang Zuli quietly took Lin Zhengren's hand again, very intimate. Han Wenwen also took advantage of Zhang Zuli's selection of clothes to secretly kiss Lin Zhengren on the cheek and looked at him jealously. Then she continued to pick clothes with Zhang Zuli as if nothing had happened. After more than half an hour, they finally chose 2 white coats and 1 gray coat. Lin Zhengren said, just buy one. Zhang Zuli looked at the 3 sets of clothes in her hand, but Han Wenwen and I can't pick out which one is the most suitable for you. Let's just buy all of them. Anyway, we don't need this little money. After becoming a singer in the past 2 years, Zhang Zuli has a lot of pocket money. After leaving the clothing store with the clothes, Han Wenwen asked, where are you two going on a date next? Lin Zhengren, I'm going to accompany Lily to get a haircut. I originally went out to accompany her to get a haircut this time, and buying clothes is just a side trip. Haircut, the little fox checked the length of Zhang Zuli's ponytail. This one is not long, not even as long as mine. Zhang Zuli blushed and corrected, actually, it's dyeing my hair. Zhengren said that I would look good with yellow hair, and I think so I wanted to dye it yellow. Han Wenwen was surprised and answered without thinking, yellow hair? That really suits you. It will definitely look good after dyeing it. Zhang Zuli was puzzled. You think it suits me too? Han Wenwen responded immediately, thinking that yellow hair should be the best match for Lily's personality. But Brother Zhengren is really good to Lily, accompanying her shopping and dyeing her hair. Sure enough, taking advantage of Brother Zhengren secretly has both advantages and disadvantages. The most obvious disadvantage is that she can't date Brother Zhengren with a clear conscience. Han Wenwen smiled. Okay, then I won't disturb you two from dating anymore. I'm going back. You two can go shopping slowly. She waved her hand. Jiang Zuli nodded, then go home slowly. She looked at Zhengren. Zhengren, let's go to the barber shop. There shouldn't be so many people now. Yeah, Lin Zhengren, Jiang Zuli and Han Wenwen parted ways and drove in opposite directions. As a result, after the little fox turned a corner, he suddenly stopped and looked back at the two of them secretly. His face was full of jealousy. Dyeing hair? Something's wrong. Although I can't tell why, Lily's micro-expression just now doesn't look like dyeing hair, and buying clothes that can be changed. Han Wenwen realized something. Are they going to get a room later? These clothes are for changing. Before the age of 18, Han Wenwen didn't worry about this kind of thing, because Brother Zhengren was very principled, but after the age of 18, Brother Zhengren's personality was not easy to deal with. The kiss last time was enough to prove that Brother Zhengren would not be the same as before. After careful consideration, the little fox decided to follow secretly. He would not disturb Brother Zhengren's date with Lily, but if they checked into a hotel, that would absolutely not be allowed. Chapter 204 Jiang Zuli's first experience. After the little fox's sneaky tracking, Lin Zhengren and Jiang Zuli took a taxi to the barber shop. But when in the taxi, Lin Zhengren looked out the window and noticed something. He was confused at first and then helpless. There were beads of sweat on his forehead. He thought that the fox was idle again today. Why did it follow him all the way instead of going home? Zhengren? After dyeing your hair today, I find a place to accompany you to try new clothes. Jiang Zuli, who was sitting with Lin Zhengren, pursed her lips and spoke as seriously as possible. In fact, she was not very good at lying, and her face was flushed. Lin Zhengren asked, find a place to try new clothes? Yeah, and I didn't sleep well last night. I want to take a nap at noon. Jiang Zuli stared straight ahead. Because the taxi driver was listening to the radio, the driver couldn't hear Jiang Zuli in the back seat as long as she spoke in a low voice. So, I'll go get a room with you later, and take a rest after trying on clothes in the room. She hesitated and spoke faster. I told my parents when I went out today that I might be back late tonight, so I have plenty of time, plus you just asked me to compensate you, why not? After she finished speaking, she blushed and quickly corrected Lin Zhengren, but I have to explain. First of all, I don't know what you want me to compensate you for. I just want to find a place to try on clothes with you and take a nap. I don't mean anything else. If you have other ideas, that's your business. Although I'm happy to, I don't think so. Lin Zhengren felt that this girl has really become more proactive in the past 2 years. In the past, she would directly use sarcastic words when she had ideas, but now she basically says whatever she can, and at most she will find an excuse to fill in the gap after she finishes speaking. Jiang Zuli saw that Lin Zhengren was staring at her, and her face was getting redder and redder. Lin Zhengren thought of something and suddenly smiled. Okay, dyeing hair is actually quite tiring. Let's get a room later. Accompany me to try on clothes and take a nap together. Jiang Zuli opened her red lips slightly, and her energetic pupils dilated. I was very surprised that Zhengren agreed so easily. Sure enough, after graduating from high school, Zhengren also wanted to try that kind of thing. That's what an adult should do. That's right, since I hugged Zhengren in the first year of high school, Zhengren and I have not made any progress in intimacy for 2 years due to various reasons. Even I can't help it, let alone Zhengren. In other words, today's Zhengren and I will have our first time. Although it's a bit sneaky, but, no matter how good my relationship with He Qing is as a sister, Zhengren has only one first time. As his girlfriend, no one doesn't want it, and they want it very much. Okay, Jiang Zuli agreed and blushed and bowed her head. This time her hand took the initiative to hold Lin Zhengren's hand tightly. Suddenly, she leaned on his shoulder. Her tone was obviously arrogant, but she seemed to be welcoming something. She said shyly, we'll go after we finish dyeing our hair. Let's get a room. Yeah. Lin Zhengren also held Jiang Zuli's hand, and with his other hand, he held one of Jiang Zuli's ponytails and looked at it again. Jiang Zuli rarely took back the ponytail, but let him touch it casually. Anyway, he would hold it later, so it didn't matter now. She was her girlfriend, and he could touch everything, anywhere. At the same time, Xiao He Qing on the high-speed train kept sneezing. Looking at the scenery outside the window, she missed Zhengren more and more. I miss him especially these 2 days. I always feel that if I can't see Hangren recently, I will feel like something is missing in my heart. Not long after, Lin's Hangren and Zhang Zuli arrived at the barber shop again. There were fewer people than in the morning, but of course not too many. After all, some left and some came. After waiting for a while, it was Zhang Zuli's turn. Zhang Zuli sat on the chair, and the other party asked, "Beauty, I remember you dyed your hair, right? What kind of hair do you want to dye? For your face shape and dress, I recommend, Zhang Zuli, yellow hair," the hairdresser sighed. "Yes. I also think that dyeing your hair yellow is the most suitable for you." Zhang Zuli opened her mouth and thought to herself, why does the whole world think that she looks good with dyed hair yellow? It's really unbelievable. The barber brought a color chart, but there are several types of yellow hair, and the colors are slightly different. "We have these yellows in our shop. See which one is better." Zhang Zuli took it and looked at it. She found that they were all similar and shouted, "Zhangren! See which one is better." Lin's Hangren walked over and took the color chart and looked at it, pointing to a lighter yellow. This one is good." The barber nodded. "This one is good, because your girlfriend's hair is thick. If it is dyed too thick, it will not be so good. This kind of hair will not look too yellow after dyeing. Then dye it this way." Zhang Zuli nodded immediately. "Well, just listen to my boyfriend, okay? Then I will start dyeing." "Beautiful girl, sit down." Zhang Zuli sat there honestly, watching the barber start to prepare for work, mixing some pigments and evenly applying them on her hair. A sentence suddenly popped out of her small head. "New skin." After dyeing, Zhangren can experience the feel of the hand. Oh no, how does it feel to the eyes? The process of dyeing hair is rather boring. I couldn't do anything during the whole process. Of course, this is for others. For Zhang Zuli, she felt itchy in her heart during the time she was dyeing her hair. She was scared, nervous, and excited. It was her first time with Zhangren. Zhang Zuli had watched a lot of messy movies when she was alone since she was a child, but personal experience is always different from the perspective of others. "I don't know what it feels like." And kissing. Many girls in high school said that kissing is very comfortable, just like eating cotton candy, but she couldn't even imagine it. "You can feel it later." So shy. The hairdresser came to check Zhang Zuli's dyeing and suddenly saw her red cheeks. "Your face is so red, are you not allergic?" Many people looked over. Zhang Zuli embarrassedly waved her hands to explain. She pointed to the infrared lamp on her head. No. It's the problem of the lamp. My white skin looks a little red." Zhang Zuli stretched out her hand to prove. "Look at my hands and arms, they are very normal." The hairdresser nodded. "Okay, anyway, if you feel uncomfortable, just tell me." "There was no allergic reaction when I tried it just now." Zhang Zuli laughed. "It's okay, I don't feel uncomfortable." After saying that, she looked at Lin's Hangren. Lin's Hangren smiled. Zhang Zuli also smiled shyly, took out her mobile phone and pretended to play with it, but in fact she was swiping back and forth on the alarm clock and calendar interface to cover up her nervousness. Her heart was pounding. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the hair dyeing was finally finished. After rinsing the dye and hair fixative, the hairdresser blew the hair dry. Zhang Zuli looked at the light yellow gold hair in the mirror and exclaimed that it was so beautiful. Lin's Hangren also came over. "It's really beautiful." "A big change?" Lin's Hangren's praise made her feel more satisfied. "I think it's good too." Zhang Zuli stood up and took the rubber band to tie her hair into a double ponytail. After tying it, even the hairdresser and some customers looked at her unconsciously, thinking that this girl really suited yellow hair. Zhang Zuli also stared at herself in the mirror and said to herself, "So I look so good after dyeing my hair yellow? It's so suitable." She stroked her hair with her hand and looked at Lin's Hangren. Lin's Hangren also held her hair with his hand to admire it. "Then let's go? I'll take a good look later." Zhang Zuli probably understood what he meant and nodded shyly. "Okay." After paying the bill, the two left hand in hand, bought some food on the way, and went straight to the nearby hotel. Chapter 205, Checking in for the second time. Dyeing hair takes about 2 hours. During this time, the little fox has been sitting in the milk tea shop across the street, drinking milk tea and observing signs. Not tired of it. Although she couldn't see the specific situation in the barber shop, Han Wenwen could accept it as long as they didn't go to get a room. Unexpectedly, after Lin's Hangren and Zhang Zuli walked out of the barber shop, they didn't go to eat, but bought some food at a fast food restaurant. Han Wenwen followed quietly behind, hiding behind the corner. hiding the 9 foxtails behind her. Don't show the foxtail. Very confused, buy fast food? Why don't you find a place to eat on a date? She stared at Zhang Zuli's golden twin ponytails with her fox eyes, stunned for a moment, and praised from the bottom of her heart. Lily looks really good with dyed yellow hair. Her appearance has risen several levels. She looked at her long hair and thought, should I dye it too? But I feel that no color suits me. I'll ask Brother Zhengren when I have time. While talking to herself, Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli bought food, held hands and took a taxi away. Han Wenwen followed and found the place they went. It was a hotel. The little fox following saw the two people get off the car and go straight to the hotel. She was like a frying pan in the taxi. Really? It's really a hotel. Han Wenwen got off the car anxiously and saw that the two had walked in. She quickly took out her mobile phone and sent a message to Lin Zhengren. It was a series of fox emoticons with teeth bared and scratching the screen. Finally, she followed with a sentence, where are Brother Zhengren and Lily going? Where are you dating? Trying to turn the situation around. In the lobby on the first floor of the hotel, Lin Zhengren, who was holding Zhang Zuli's hand, heard the buzzing vibration of his mobile phone and kept popping up messages. He clicked it and saw a smile on his face. Zhang Zuli blushed as he watched him playing with his mobile phone, wondering, what's wrong, Zhengren? Who sent you a message? Lin Zhengren said casually, a very beautiful canine creature. At this moment, Zhang Zuli's brain had lost at least half of its ability to think. She couldn't figure out what the canine creature referred to after Lin Zhengren's deed. She couldn't even think of Han Wenwen. Lin Zhengren simply replied to Han Wenwen. The little fox outside the hotel saw the message Lin Zhengren sent to him. I will come out to chat with you later. Wait outside first. Han Wenwen, who was hiding outside, was surprised and confused, and said to herself, what does this mean? Does Brother Zhengren know that I am following them? No way, my actions are so covert. She shook her head. Forget it, it's not important. She was about to send another message to Lin Zhengren. As a result, Lin Zhengren said in advance, Lily and I have booked a room first. I will talk to you later. There is a place to drink nearby. You can sit and wait for a while. It will probably take a long time for me to come down. Han Wenwen opened her fox eyes wide, anxious. But it was useless to be anxious. As a little fox raised by Brother Zhengren, she must not break in and interrupt, otherwise Brother Zhengren will definitely be angry. But what to do? The little fox turned her head jealously and looked at the hotel in front of her. There was a strong jealousy in the fox's eyes, and she frowned slightly. Brother Zhengren can't really give his first time to Lily. You shouldn't do that kind of thing with me first. In the hotel lobby, Lin Zhengren put away his mobile phone, and the front desk asked, open a king-size bedroom? Temporary or, Lin Zhengren said neatly, I want a king-size bedroom, a temporary one is fine. This is my ID card. He asked Zhang Zuli, did you bring it? Zhang Zuli also nodded shyly and took out her ID card from her pocket. She took it with her when she went out this morning. Although I didn't think it would be really useful when I left home, I thought of it just in case. Who knew it would really be useful? The front desk took the ID cards of the two people and registered the room for them. He handed them a room card, room 207 on the second floor. Lin Zhengren took the room card and said thank you, then took Zhang Zuli straight to the second floor. This was the second time Zhang Zuli had checked in with Lin Zhengren in her life. With the experience of the last time, she was not so unfamiliar with the hotel environment this time. Instead, she was worried about what would happen next. While walking, the hand that was not held was clenched tightly, and her lips were always pursed. She could hear her heartbeat clearly all the time. Looking up at Lin Zhengren's handsome profile, he was still as usual. Zhang Zhengren, huh? Lin Zhengren turned around, and the two did not stop. Zhang Zuli shuddered and stammered, well, I'm a little nervous, not scared. I'm just nervous. Are you nervous? Lin Zhengren felt that her palms were a little sweaty, and smiled, don't worry, just enjoy it slowly later. Zhang Zuli's heart beat fast because of his smile and words, and her eyes looked away. Enjoy. What's the word? Arriving at the room, Lin Zhengren opened the door with a beep. This time's hotel is more upscale than the hotel at the school gate. As soon as I entered, I found it very warm, with a large bathroom and toilet. This time there was no sofa, only a big bed, and there were roses and a remote control on the bed. Zhang Zuli and Lin Zhengren, who had watched too many movies, came in and closed the door. When she saw the remote control on the bed, Her face suddenly turned red. Remote control. Lin's Hengren also saw it and said, "It will be useful later." "I came here for this." Ha Jiang Zuli's ears were red to the extreme. What exactly does Hengren want to do later? What does he plan to do to her? Lin's Hengren put the clothes he bought aside. Jiang Zuli didn't dare to move at all. Lin's Hengren reminded her to put the food she bought on the table. Lin's Hengren let go of her hand and took off his coat and shirt. Jiang Zuli watched him take off his clothes and the perfect and clear muscle lines on his upper body, and her breathing became rapid. Turning around and seeing the bright window, she rarely took the initiative to walk to the window and pulled the curtains, and the room became dim. Lin's Hengren wanted to laugh when he saw her restrained look. "You should have taken a shower this morning, right? I smelled you smelled pretty good when I saw you this morning," Jiang Zuli stammered. "Well, every time I see you, I take a shower before going out, and I wash myself very clean. I didn't take a shower last night. I'll go take a shower. It will only take 10 minutes. Jiang Zuli swallowed her saliva. "Well, don't worry. Anyway, 4 hours should be enough for you to play." "I play." Jiang Zuli covered her mouth and quickly shook her head in shame. "I didn't say play, did I?" Lin's Hengren walked to her side and touched Jiang Zuli's face with his hand. Jiang Zuli felt that her body was a little bit different from her own now. Subconsciously, she raised her head and looked at him with trembling eyes. Lin's Hengren touched her golden twin ponytails again. "It's really beautiful. I will definitely have fun later." After that, he turned and went to the bathroom and locked the door. Jiang Zuli waited until he came in, and sat on the bed shyly, covering her face with her hands. Lying on the bed, she grabbed the quilt with both hands, full of anticipation and excitement, and spoke quickly. "So nervous, so nervous, so nervous. What will it feel like later? It shouldn't hurt," she swallowed and said to herself. "It shouldn't. I searched the internet many times before. It said that as long as girls are not afraid, they won't feel pain. They will only feel happy. Boys will also be very happy." At this time, Lin's Hengren turned on the shower head in the bathroom. "This bathroom has almost no sound insulation. I can hear everything you say." Jiang Zuli on the bed felt ashamed to face people. She sat up suddenly, feeling ashamed. "Big idiot. Zhengren, big idiot. Why didn't you say it earlier?" Chapter 206 What I've always wanted to do. Lin's Hengren was really innocent this time. "I just found out too. Who would have thought that I could hear your words so clearly? I guess you can also hear the sound of me taking a shower later." The sound in the bathroom was indeed obvious. Jiang Zuli, who was sitting on the bed, could clearly hear the sound of the water flowing through the shower head and bathing the body. Lin's Hengren asked, "Really?" Jiang Zuli was at a loss for words. "Stop talking," Lin's Hengren observed from inside. "I found that there seemed to be no bath towel in the bathroom." "Lily, go and get me one." Jiang Zuli blinked blankly. "No bath towel? Well, I didn't pay attention to it just now. I guess the cleaning lady forgot to put it. You just need to go to the front desk and tell her." "Okay, I know." Jiang Zuli got out of bed and was about to go, but suddenly remembered something. She turned her head and looked at the bedside table and found that there was no such thing. They were all in the room when we checked in last time. Did he forget to put it there too? I don't know if Hengren brought it or not. I can't even ask about it. Forget it, I'll just go buy it myself. Jiang Zuli shyly left the room and went downstairs. She didn't ask for a bath towel first, but walked out of the hotel to look for a nearby supermarket. Sure enough, she found a small supermarket next to her. She walked in. This action was also seen by Han Wenwen, who was hiding in the corner. The little fox wondered why Lily came out alone. What was she going to do? Jiang Zuli went to the supermarket and looked around but didn't see her. The female boss of the supermarket asked curiously while eating melon seeds, "What are you looking for?" "Just tell me." Jiang Zuli was very embarrassed, but still hesitantly said, "Do you have any contraceptives?" The supermarket boss continued, "Condoms, yeah." She looked away shamefully. The female boss nodded, "Yes, how many boxes do you want?" "How many boxes?" Jiang Zuli didn't even know how many were in a box, and didn't know if it was enough, so she bought more. 2 boxes. "No, 3 or 4 boxes. The female boss paused while eating melon seeds, sighing that young people are young people, but this little girl is pretty, so it's understandable. She took 4 boxes and handed them to Jiang Zuli. Jiang Zuli quickly put the money in her pocket after paying, sighing that this thing is quite expensive. Back to the hotel. The little fox saw her go back in, wondering why she didn't have anything in her hand. Quietly went to the door of the supermarket and asked, "Boss?" The female boss turned around while eating melon seeds, wondering why all the customers today are so good looking. Huh? What did the beautiful lady buy? Han Wenwen asked with a smile. What did that person just buy, just now? What are you doing? Han Wenwen thought for a while and smiled. The person just now was my friend. I just happened to see her and asked. The female boss said meaningfully. What's there to ask? Don't you know what she bought by looking at where she went? I'm not convenient to say. Han Wenwen is still very smart in some aspects. Hearing this and the boss's expression, her fox eyes widened, and she immediately thought of something. Condoms. Brother Zhengren. Hurry up and send a message to Lin Zhengren to remind him again. On the first floor of the hotel, Zhang Zuli asked the front desk, Sister, there is no bath towel in our room. I came to ask for one. The front desk was puzzled. No bath towel? Auntie forgot to put it again. Then I will find you a new one. She got up and went to the warehouse behind her to find a new one and handed it to Zhang Zuli. She also asked politely, are there any other things missing? For example, shower gel and toiletries, and if you don't have enough condoms in the room, I can also give you a few boxes, but you have to pay extra. Zhang Zuli took the bath towel and just shook her head and said, there should be no other things missing. Suddenly, she heard a question, is there anything else in the room? What is that? The female front desk said, condoms? Yes, they are in the drawer in the room. Didn't you see it? Zhang Zuli was embarrassed. I didn't look in the drawer, but there is no need. We have enough. After saying that, she was about to take the bath towel back to the second floor, but at this time she saw a car parked at the door of the hotel behind her. A middle-aged man and woman got out of the car and walked into the hotel talking and laughing. Zhang Zuli looked back curiously, but she was startled by the glance and quickly turned around to go to the second floor. Because the people who came to the hotel were none other than the male head teacher of Zhang Zuli's class 3 and the female head teacher of Lin Zhengren's class 1 in high school. When Zhang Zuli left, she looked back curiously to confirm that she was not mistaken. The two said to the front desk, open a double bedroom, temporary. Zhang Zuli was stunned. Really? Are our head teacher and the head teacher of Zhengren's class a couple? I didn't know, and it's such a coincidence that we came to the same place. The waiter at the front desk handed the two teachers the room card. Your room is 206. Zhang Zuli suspected that she had heard it wrong. We are next door. Zhang Zuli hurried back to the room on the second floor and knocked on the door. Zhengren, it's me. Open the door quickly. I got my bath towel back. She was afraid that the two teachers would come and see her soon. Lin Zhengren in the room responded, I'm coming. The door of the room opened, and Zhang Zuli quickly got into the room. Just as she breathed a sigh of relief, she saw that Lin Zhengren was covered in foam and wet. In the state of removing armor, Zhang Zuli's eyes unconsciously looked towards a sacred place. After seeing the truth of this world, she blushed with shame. She quickly turned her back to Lin Zhengren, covering her face and unable to speak. Her twin ponytails jumped up and down. Zhengren, why did you open the door like this? I saw everything. Even Zhengren's Lin Zhengren took the towel from her hand, but there was nothing he could do. You are my girlfriend, what are you afraid of? And I am taking a shower. Of course I can only open the door for you like this, and I don't have a towel. After that, Lin Zhengren returned to the bathroom. I'll just take a shower, you go to bed first. Zhang Zuli really had no strength. She was really too nervous. Slowly squatting on the ground with her hands hugging her knees and her head buried in her knees, her face red enough to boil an egg. Although it was only a moment, and the room was dark, but Zhengren. It turned out to be like that. After thinking about these words, she heard the sound of two people passing by outside the corridor. The two people went to the next room and opened the door. Zhang Zuli exhaled a trembling breath. She slowly stood up against the wall and went to the bed. Thinking of the scenery she had just seen, she took off her shoes with a red face. She took off her socks and stuffed them into her shoes, and put all the condoms she bought in her pocket under the pillow. She crawled into the quilt and sat against the head of the bed. She would give her clothes to Zhengren later, otherwise it would seem too proactive. She pursed her lips and hugged her legs and waited quietly. Soon Lin Zhengren came out of the bathroom wearing a bath towel and saw Zhang Zuli already waiting for him in the quilt with a red face. She didn't dare to look up. Lin Zhengren also walked to the bed, lifted the quilt, and sat in the quilt. Didn't you say you would let me try on clothes? Why did you get into the bed directly? Zhang Zuli didn't have much strength to refute, feeling Lin Sihengren sitting next to her. Why are you still trying on clothes, you big idiot? Let's talk about it when we leave. Lin Sihengren saw her nervousness and shouted, Lily. Zhang Zuli trembled, sat up straight and turned to look at him woodenly. What are you doing, idiot Sihengren? Lin Sihengren stared into Zhang Zuli's eyes, and suddenly became gentle. Are you nervous? Zhang Zuli clenched her fists. How could I? I'm not nervous. He even said the opposite of what he meant. Lin Sihengren reached out and slowly touched Zhang Zuli's head, holding her ponytail. Zhang Zuli just stared at him playing with her hair, her body stiff. Lin Sihengren reminded, do you remember what you always wanted to do with me before? The thing you tried many times but never did. Chapter 207 Atmosphere. Zhang Zuli's mind was completely confused now. She shook her head slowly. I don't know, what's the matter? Lin Sihengren wanted to laugh, so he asked her to close her eyes. Zhang Zuli swallowed again, closed her eyes very obediently, raised her head slightly without making a sound, and clenched her hands even harder. What on earth was Sihengren trying to do? She heard Lin Sihengren seem to be looking for something, until he said, it's here. At this moment, Lin Sihengren found the remote control from the bedside. He pressed it towards the wall in front of him. Something fell from an inconspicuous place above the wall. Soon a buzzing mechanical sound came out, and Zhang Zuli frowned slightly and blushed, becoming more and more confused about what the sound was. It sounded so far away. Lin Sihengren leaned against the head of the bed. Okay, you can open your eyes and take a look. Zhang Zuli opened her eyes nervously, and saw that there was suddenly a ray of light in the room that was originally dim due to the curtains drawn. The light came from the wall, and she turned her head to look. A large screen suddenly appeared on the wall, with options for playing various movies, and a beam of light shone towards the screen. Zhang Zuli looked up at the ceiling and found a projector hidden in the position of the light above the room. This is, Lin Sihengren explained, movie theme hotel. Didn't you always want to watch a movie with me alone? As a result, you always fell asleep every time you went to the cinema, and you never watched a movie. Originally, I thought I would buy a projector to watch it with you at home if I had the chance. He looked at the big screen in front of him, but today is such a good opportunity. I thought it would be better to find a movie theme hotel. The effect is the same. It can be regarded as satisfying your wish. It is quiet, there are only the two of us, and we are not tired in bed. Zhang Zuli looked at the big screen on the wall in a trance, and some of the pictures on the screen were reflected in her pupils. Her heartbeat did not slow down, because an unexpected emotion swept through her heart, and her pupils sparkled. Movie. Sihengren, you still remember this, why not? You are my girlfriend after all, and you just bought me some clothes. It's not too much for me to watch a movie with you. I remember you regretted crying after you fell asleep last time I watched a movie with you. At that time, I thought I must accompany you to watch a movie once. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips at this moment. Seeing Lin Sihengren's gentle expression, she suddenly smiled and thought of the last time with tears in her eyes. That's because every time I want to watch a movie with you, I fall asleep inexplicably. I actually cherish the time I spend with Sihengren, so I didn't expect you to arrange this kind of thing on purpose. After saying that, Zhang Zuli wiped the tears from her eyes with the back of her hand. I was suddenly so touched. I didn't expect Sihengren that you would even take this kind of thing to heart. I didn't expect it at all. It's not a special arrangement. Isn't the name of this hotel a movie-themed hotel? Didn't you see it just now? Zhang Zuli blushed all of a sudden, and shook her head in embarrassment and shyness. She didn't have time to care about the words in front of her just now, and only saw the word hotel at the back. Lin Sihengren wiped away the tears from her eyes and raised the remote control in his hand. Wasn't there a remote control on the bed just now? You didn't think of it. Zhang Zuli's cheeks turned darker. She thought that the remote control was used for that kind of thing. After all, it was in a hotel. She didn't think about it at all. Lin Sihengren stared at Zhang Zuli's expression and asked with a meaningful smile, you usually watch a lot of those messy things when you are alone, right? Zhang Zuli waved her hands and refuted to prove her innocence. No, no. Don't talk nonsense, Sihengren. She glanced to the side. How can a little girl like me watch that kind of thing? I have no interest in that kind of thing. I am very pure and I don't understand anything about that kind of thing. Lin Sihengren snorted. Really? Of course it is. It must be. Lin Sihengren wanted to say something, but his cell phone suddenly rang. It was He Qing calling. Zhang Zuli also saw him answer the phone. Lin Zhengren wiped away the tears from Zhang Zuli's eyes with his hands. Hello, He Qing. Little He Qing was still on the high-speed train at this moment. Her voice was sweet and timid. Lin Zhengren, I will arrive in 3 or 4 hours. I won't take the bus at that time. I will take a taxi to find you directly. Have you had lunch? Lin Zhengren reminded him. You don't have to take the bus or taxi. Didn't I say that I will take the bus to the station to pick you up in the evening? I will take the bus an hour and a half in advance. You should be able to see me when you get off the high-speed train. Little He Qing was a little happy in the car because she could see Lin Zhengren early. Okay, then I'll listen to you. Have you had lunch? Because the hotel was very quiet, Zhang Zuli could also vaguely hear some of the content on the phone. It was He Qing's voice. And when she was talking to Zhengren on the phone, He Qing's voice sounded so well-behaved, like a little bird. Lin Zhengren, not yet. I'll eat later. Little He Qing glanced at the time, stopped twirling her hair in the car, and said distressedly, it's almost time and you haven't eaten yet? It's not good for your health, so eat quickly. It's already afternoon. Okay, I'll eat now, so why don't you hang up first? Okay, bye Lin Zhengren, bye. After hanging up the phone, Little He Qing blushed and excited on the high-speed train, looking forward to meeting in the evening. After Lin Zhengren hung up the phone, he looked at the messages that were still popping up on his phone. These messages were not sent by He Qing, but all from a fox. Apparently, he and Lily checked into a hotel, which almost made the fox anxious to death. From the emojis that made people angry at the beginning, to the emojis that made people feel aggrieved later. Just now, he even sent a sentence. Brother Zhengren, you don't have to come out to find me later. I have also booked a room in this hotel, room 104. Just come to my room and don't take too long. I'll be waiting for you here, Lin Zhengren replied. Okay. Then you take a rest first, I'll be there later. The little fox sent another aggrieved cartoon emoticon, and the cartoon fox on the screen was almost wilted. Zhang Zuli finally reacted at this time and asked, Zhengren, is He Qing coming in the afternoon? Are you going to pick her up? Lin Zhengren put the phone under the pillow. Well, she originally said she would come in a week, but suddenly wanted to come earlier. I will take a car to pick her up around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 4 o'clock, Zhang Zuli calculated the time. There were still about 3 hours, so little time. That means we are just going to watch a movie this time. You are going to pick up He Qing at 4 o'clock. Lin Zhengren saw her complicated expression. Why, don't you like watching movies? Zhang Zuli bit her lip. She was very touched by what Lin Zhengren did, but it was also because of this that she wanted to be with Zhengren even more. She stammered, it's not that I don't like it, no. I should say I like it very much, but she clutched the bedsheet tightly. Seeing her ears turn red, Lin Zhengren suddenly held Zhang Zuli's hand and breathed a sigh of relief, telling the truth. Originally, I just wanted to watch a movie, but the atmosphere is different from the beginning, and you are like this now. It's hard for me to watch a movie with you like this. I can't help it. Zhang Zuli felt Lin Zhengren's hand begin to hug her waist. Her heart, which was originally a little disappointed, suddenly brightened up again. Her chest rose and fell nervously, and her tangled eyes became clear. What am I like now? The same as usual. And Zhengren, what can't you help? Lin Zhengren slowly hugged her in his arms, and Zhang Zuli moved closer to him little by little. Lin Zhengren examined her and answered the first half of the sentence. There's a big difference. Your face can drip water now. He held her face with his other hand, and put his thumb on Zhang Zuli's lips. Zhang Zuli trembled. Suddenly, she slowly opened her red lips and bit Lin Zhengren's finger. Lin Zhengren could feel something touching his finger. Lin Zhengren was surprised. Lily is so proactive. I didn't, she said proudly. It was the idiot Zhengren who put his finger on my lips. Raise your head. Zhang Zuli slowly raised her head. Her ponytails fell a little behind her waist, and her fisted hand slowly stroked Lin Zhengren's chest. Lin Zhengren stared into her eyes and asked, I remember you taught me how to hug last time. Do you want to teach me this time? Don't tease me all the time, big idiot. I hate you so much. I love you so much. The two people's faces slowly approached, until their lips touched each other little by little, and kissed each other. Zhang Zuli's eyes trembled slightly, and she slowly opened her mouth. Her lips met his. Lin Zhengren's hand gradually reached into Zhang Zuli's clothes on the back. Lily waited for a while before she also supported Lin Zhengren's chest with one hand. The other hand slowly reached into the quilt. Chapter 208 Lily and Wenwen. Zhang Zuli's heart was beating very fast, but she could hardly pay attention to the sound of her heartbeat at the moment. She just followed Lin Sehengren's lips obediently and with a bit of initiative. When they kissed, it made a sound a bit like drinking a beverage with a straw. So this is what kissing feels like? It does taste a bit like eating cotton candy, but not quite like it. It is a feeling that is not similar to anything else. An indescribable feeling. I really want to keep kissing Sehengren like this. It's so wonderful. Her breathing became a little disordered. There was a whimpering sound in her throat. She felt Lin Sehengren's hand reach to her back and slowly unfasten a buckle. Zhang Zuli's eyes slightly opened. Her usually lively eyes seemed to be watery at this moment. Lin Sehengren paused and asked, "What's wrong?" She hesitated. "Nothing." She felt Sehengren's hands start to get knotty, and shyly cursed, "Stupid Sehengren." Lin Sehengren smiled and continued to kiss her, and Zhang Zuli continued to cater to him, gently supporting Lin Sehengren's chest. The other hand slowly touched the firm muscles of Lin Sehengren's abdomen. Then she continued to explore the quilt, until her face became even redder, thinking of the scene she saw when she just entered the room. It seemed different from that time. Just when Zhang Zuli was about to move closer to Lin Sehengren, some voices suddenly came from next door. Hurry up, is it so hard to take off the coat?" It was a familiar male voice. "Why are you in such a hurry? Is it that serious?" The woman's voice was also familiar. "It's all because of you. Just now I was forced to eat turtle, lamb kidneys, chicken kidneys, etc. I feel hot all over my body, and my forehead is starting to get hot." Tisk. The girl smiled. "You are a teacher, and you are so anxious. And you said you like to eat kidneys, so I took you to eat, and look at you, then you can't order so much for me at once. I will definitely get angry if I eat so much, and I can't waste it. I ordered a lot. Who said that I was craving for kidneys on the date that day, and said that Jiabaoiru in the dream of the Red Chamber was born with a piece of spiritual jade in his mouth, and you were born with a piece of cru lamb kidney in your mouth, and you were born to eat kidneys?" The two people had a clear conversation, which didn't affect anything at first, but when they talked about this, Lin Sehengren and Zhang Zuli suddenly laughed. The two looked at each other with a smile. Lin Sehengren was puzzled. The voices of these two people sound familiar? Especially the woman, a bit like our class teacher. Zhang Zuli blushed and whispered, "What happened just now? It seems like the people next door to us are our head teacher and the head teacher of class 1. I saw them when I went to the first floor just now. It seems that the two teachers just drove by and came here to get a room." Lin Sehengren was surprised and thoughtful. "When I was in school, I vaguely heard that the teachers of our two classes were a couple, but I didn't pay attention to it before. I didn't expect it to be true. Isn't this too coincidental? It's just next door to us. It seems that there is a wall between the sound." Zhang Zuli turned her head to look at the wall beside her and whispered, "But why can we hear it so clearly? Is the sound insulation here so poor?" Lin Sehengren also turned his head to look at the wall. "It's normal for the hotel to have poor sound insulation. After all, it's in a small town, and the two of them talk loudly, but it stands to reason that the bed in their room should not be placed on our side. This should be the bathroom." Zhang Zuli blushed. "Ah. You said the two teachers were in the bathroom." As soon as she finished speaking, some cat meowing sounds began to come from the room next door. The sound was not small. Zhang Zuli's face flushed and she bit her lips awkwardly. Because it was a familiar voice, Lin Sehengren frowned, although this kind of thing is normal and everyone would do it. But hearing the familiar teacher making such a noise in the next room, anyone would feel extremely embarrassed, and it is easy to associate it with the current demeanor of the head teacher, who is very serious on the podium on weekdays. Zhang Zuli could also feel that Lin Sehengren's interest was falling. The most coincidental thing was that Zhang Zuli's stomach was rumbling with hunger at this moment. Zhang Zuli couldn't look at Lin Sehengren anymore. Lin Sehengren also heard the voice, "Are you hungry?" Zhang Zuli's voice was very low, because the noise next door was too loud. She could only speak softly because she was afraid that the next door would hear it. Shy and embarrassed, "It's okay. It doesn't matter whether I'm hungry or not. The main thing is that the next door is like this." She hesitated again and said, "This is a bit too much." Lin Sehengren's hands were dishonest again, looking at Zhang Zuli's slightly frowning and red cheeks. "Sehengren," she covered her lips with her hands. Actually, Lin Sehengren just wanted to kiss for a while, but Lily actually aroused his anger. Although Lily was usually arrogant, naughty and lively, she was quite good at kissing just now, and it was obvious that she had seen a lot of messy things. Even biting her own fingers could arouse people's desire. It's just that a certain fox is waiting for him in another room, and he has to pick up He Qing in more than 2 hours. There are too many things going on today. Even if there weren't those messy noises next door, 2 hours would be too rushed. It would be meaningless if we can't enjoy it for the first time. Zhang Zuli opened her eyes slightly and looked at Lin Suhengren. She really couldn't continue. Well, if you are going to pick up He Qing later, the time is really too tight. And I always feel weird if you go to pick up He Qing after finishing those things. How about, she took the initiative to speak rarely, when we travel next week, we will definitely book different rooms in the mountains. I will come to your room to find you in the evening. I'll go there early. After she finished speaking, she looked at Lin Suhengren, smiling at her, her face flushed. What are you laughing at, Zhengren? I mean, what else do I need to explain? Do you have any other meaning? He asked. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips hard. Yeah, there's nothing to explain, that's what I mean. While the two were talking, they had to listen to some noises next door, which made it very strange to say these words. Lin Suhengren took back his hand and touched Zhang Zuli's head. Zhang Zuli leaned her hot forehead on Lin Suhengren's chest. Half an hour later, Lin Suhengren got dressed and walked out of the room to find a certain fox. Sure enough, it didn't matter where Lily watched the movie, as long as she was watching the movie with him. Even when she was eating. Even when there were those messy noises next door when she was not asleep, Lily could still fall asleep leaning on his shoulder. However, Lin Suhengren had to admit that for so many years, the anger in his heart was actually provoked by Lily, which was surprising. She came to the room number on the first floor, where Han Wenwen sent her a message, and knocked on the door. Wenwen? It's me, open the door. At this moment, in the 104-bed room on the first floor, in the dim room, Han Wenwen was lying on the bed with her legs under the bed, and the fox's eyes were a little lonely, looking somewhere, waiting for someone. Until the knock on the door sounded, the little fox finally seemed to have recovered his spirit and hurriedly got up to open the door. The door of the room opened quickly. Lin Suhengren looked down at Han Wenwen, whose eyes were full of longing. Han Wenwen looked up and stared at Lin Suhengren, whom he had not seen for just an hour. The door slammed shut. Han Wenwen hugged Lin Suhengren tightly. Brother Suhengren, you are finally here. In the room with the curtains drawn and no sunlight, Lin Suhengren felt Han Wenwen hugging him tightly. Her nervous and expectant emotions were clearly visible from her voice. Wenwen, do you need to use so much force to hug me? He didn't even finish the word force. Han Wenwen wrapped her arms around Lin Suhengren's neck and kissed him with her red lips without hesitation. Wenwen's initiative was different from Lily's. Her charm was something that others could not even imitate. Lin Suhengren was a human being after all. If the fire that he had just suppressed had not been aroused by someone, it would have been fine. But it was aroused a second time. He couldn't bear it anymore. Chapter 209, Soul Stealing. The fox's delicate body was pressed against Lin Suhengren. Lin Suhengren leaned against the door of the room, feeling the fox's active and flattering posture. Han Wenwen's jade hands gently embraced his neck. The hot air from her nose continued to hit Lin Suhengren's cheeks. The two kissed with red lips. During the process, Lin Suhengren's anger, which had not completely disappeared in his heart, was aroused again, and he also hugged Han Wenwen's willow waist. The three little ones have their own figures. Han Wenwen's perfection lies in her waist and hips, which can never be matched by others. From the willow waist all the way down, there is almost no flaw, and the extreme body curve is held in Lin Suhengren's arms. His hand reached into Han Wenwen's shirt. Feeling that Lin Suhengren was slightly different from usual, the fox's eyes slowly opened, with a blush and anxiety from the long wait before. Brother Suhengren, although the little fox was not very calm at the moment, she was already anxious and panicked after waiting for nearly an hour. She couldn't imagine that the man she loved the most was sleeping with other girls right under her nose. When she saw Lily going to the supermarket to buy condoms, her heartbeat slowed down. Even though Lily was also the girlfriend of Suhengren's brother. But everyone is selfish, and the little fox is even more selfish. At this moment, she looked at Lin Suhengren's appearance, the speed of his heartbeat, the temperature of his breathing, and the subconscious impulse in his eyes. The little fox, who was extremely sensitive to the emotions between men and women, suddenly realized something. A trace of joy appeared on her face. Brother Suhengren, didn't you sleep with a lily? You obviously have such a strong smell of lily on your body, and on your mouth. Lin Suhengren looked at the little fox, and the fox's eyes were full of Lin Suhengren's reflection, as if it was engraved in the pupils and would never disappear. Lin Suhengren replied, why should I sleep with a lily? When Lily and I checked in, do you know how many messages you sent me? I can imagine how anxious you're just thinking about it, and I have to pick up He Qing this afternoon, and there is such a situation in the next room." Han Wenwen smiled. Although the amount of information is a bit too much, the little fox will not ask in detail at this moment, otherwise the atmosphere will be ruined. Lin's Hengren, besides, my original intention of checking in with Lily was to accompany her to watch a movie, although later, Han Wenwen covered Lin's Hengren's lips with her hand. "Brothers Hengren, it's okay, don't talk about you and Lily, I just know that Brothers Hengren didn't sleep with Lily." Han Wenwen could taste a little different sweetness when she kissed Lin's Hengren just now. Brothers Hengren must have kissed Lily. If it was usual, the little fox would be jealous for several days just because of this, but compared with sex, this matter really seems not so important. Han Wenwen's happy mouth curled up, first tiptoed to hug Lin's Hengren tightly. Then she put her ear to his heart, listening to Lin's Hengren's heartbeat, which was much faster than usual. The little fox's eyes changed slightly, and her charm and beauty all flooded into her eyes at this moment. She raised her head and stared at Lin's Hengren again. She didn't say anything. But she knew another thing, that is, Brothers Hengren's desire seemed to have been completely aroused by Lily. Not only was he more active than usual, but his eyes also had the impulse of a beast looking at its prey. Although she didn't know what happened specifically, but if Lily continued to take the initiative, Brothers Hengren in this state would probably. Han Wenwen's heartbeat was also very fast. She suddenly held Lin's Hengren's other hand and took the initiative to put his hand below her waist, at the hip position. The warmth of Lin's Hengren's palm made him frown slightly. Wenwen, Han Wenwen bit her lower lip, and her rosy lips turned slightly white. Wenwen can satisfy all of Brothers Hengren's ideas. If there's enough time, Wenwen can stay in this room with Brothers Hengren for 2 days. If there's not enough time, Wenwen can also help Brothers Hengren. She raised her toes and whispered in Lin's Hengren's ear, "Relax in other ways and relieve Brothers Hengren's pressure." She bit Lin's Hengren's earlobe. Word by word, Brothers Hengren doesn't have to worry about Wenwen. Just do whatever you feel comfortable with. Wenwen is happy as long as she can see Brothers Hengren happy. Wenwen is Brothers Hengren's property and can do everything for Brothers Hengren. The fragrance from her red lips seemed to want to continue to make Lin's Hengren's anger even stronger. When Lin's Hengren looked at her again, the two kissed without hesitation. Han Wenwen held Lin's Hengren's head with one hand. The fingers of the other hand slowly slid down his chest. Lin's Hengren's brows relaxed at this moment, his eyes slowly closed. He touched the little fox's head and breathed a long sigh of relief. Looking at the time again, it was already past 3 in the afternoon. Han Wenwen opened her mouth and looked at Lin's Hengren. Lin's Hengren touched her head helplessly, her delicate eyes staring at him straight. Until Lin's Hengren pulled her up and held her in his arms. Han Wenwen licked her lips with a red face. "Brothers Hengren, have you come down? Are you not so angry anymore?" Lin's Hengren also took the initiative to hug Han Wenwen, and the fragrance of the little fox filled his nose. "Originally I was very calm when I came to see you, but who knew you would hug me and kiss me as soon as you came up? I'll hold you in bed and rest for a while, you must be exhausted." Han Wenwen shook her head, secretly happy in her heart. "Not tired. Wenwen is Brothers Hengren's woman. Why should I be tired of helping Brothers Hengren do those things? This is what a little fox should do. I'm more than happy." After saying that, she wanted to kiss Lin's Hengren, but then she reacted shyly and said, "I'll go to the bathroom to wash my face. Wait for me." Lin's Hengren was curious, "Is it necessary?" "No." Han Wenwen rubbed her head on his neck like a spoiled child. "Yes, otherwise I would feel weird when kissing." "Okay, Brothers Hengren." She looked up at Lin's Hengren. Master Lin's Hengren smiled helplessly, touched her face and rubbed the little fox's lips with his thumb. This fox seemed to be born to know some things. Although not very skilled at the beginning. But according to Lin's Hengren's reaction, he could immediately know the trick. "Go ahead, yeah, it'll be done soon." The little fox smiled and went to the bathroom to clean up quickly. Lin's Hengren also went to sit on the bed. When Lin's Hengren went out in the morning, he didn't think these things would happen, especially that it was Wenwen who made him relax in the end. It was even more unexpected. Not long after, Han Wenwen came out of the bathroom and wanted to throw herself into Lin's Hengren's arms. As a result, it seemed that her legs were a little weak, and she almost fell when she walked in front of Lin's Hengren. Fortunately, Lin's Hengren was quick to support her. Han Wenwen said awkwardly and shyly, "My legs are a little weak. I want to lie on Brothers Hengren's legs to rest for a while. I want you to touch my head." The two kissed briefly. Lin Zhengren sat on the head of the bed, and the little fox took off his shoes and used his arms as a pillow to lie on Lin Zhengren's legs. Legs curled up. It was exactly like a small animal relying on its owner. Sure enough, Brother Zhengren is a real murderer. He was a bit fierce just now. It would be better if there was more time today. Han Wenwen enjoyed Lin Zhengren's touch on her hair and closed her eyes comfortably. She bit her lips and recalled what had just happened. Lin Zhengren said lovingly, "It was too sudden today, and I didn't have time to hug you. I'll go to your house to find you next time." Really? Han Wenwen was very happy to hear this, but the phrase next time was too general. She thought of one thing. Brother Zhengren, don't say next time. Aren't we going to travel to the mountains this time? When the time comes, I'll find a time and go to find Brother Zhengren secretly. She rubbed her face against Lin Zhengren's hand, her fox eyes seductive. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210 Lovely Lily. It was at this time that Lin Zhengren's cell phone suddenly rang. It was Zhang Zuli who answered it. She woke up after sleeping in the hotel room for more than an hour and found that Lin Zhengren was gone. It was originally an unfamiliar environment. After waking up, she was the only one left in the bed. She was panicked and called Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren took out his cell phone and saw who it was and answered it. Zhang Zuli asked anxiously on the phone, "Hello, Zhengren, where are you? Why aren't you in the room?" Lin Zhengren was still stroking Han Wenwen's head with his hand. Although the little fox was jealous, she was still a little proud of what she had just done. While Lin Zhengren was on the phone, she slowly sat up and approached Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren replied, "Lily, are you awake? There is no water in the room. I came out to buy a bottle of water and will be back soon." "Buy water? Oh, then come back soon." "Well, I'll be back in 3 minutes." Lin Zhengren saw Han Wenwen staring at him, and she opened her mouth and slowly bit Lin Zhengren's ear. Lin Zhengren hugged Fox's waist and said to Lily, "Then I'll hang up first." After hanging up the phone, he curiously asked Fox, "What are you going to do now?" Han Wenwen replied meaningfully, "Nothing, just to see if Brother Zhengren is still angry." "You really know how to make trouble." Lin Zhengren hugged her and kissed her again. After kissing for a while again, Han Wenwen blushed and asked, "I didn't have time to ask just now, are you comfortable?" Lin Zhengren asked back, "What do you think? After all, my Wenwen is so powerful." This little praise made her extremely proud, thinking that after starting this today, Brother Zhengren has obviously become a carnivore. In the past, he would not hug her all the time, but now he keeps hugging her waist. It seems that there is not much difference, but there is a big difference. "Lin Zhengren, I'm going to find Lily, go home slowly." The little fox nodded obediently. After sending Lin Zhengren to the door, he waved at him and watched him go upstairs again. Han Wenwen unconsciously felt jealous again. She returned to the room and sat where Lin Zhengren had been lying. She leaned against the head of the bed, her long hair draped over her shoulders. The little fox had no extra strength in her body. She touched her red lips with her slender fingers, and at this moment, it felt a bit like chewing too much gum. She was a little tired. But at the same time, she felt an indescribable satisfaction after tasting delicious food. It was unforgettable. "This is the first time I've seen Brother Zhengren's expression just now." She recalled the scene of Lin Zhengren's brows just now, and her heartbeat accelerated. "What a cute look. Every time I do something, Brother Zhengren's expression will change accordingly, and his eyes are all about me." Han Wenwen put her hand on her thigh and slowly closed her eyes. "It's a pity that there is too little time, otherwise I would have eaten Brother Zhengren today." She whimpered twice in her throat. "Imagine something. Brother Zhengren. Brother Zhengren, Wenwen wants you. Wenwen will do whatever you ask her to do." After Lin Zhengren walked out of the room on the first floor, he felt a little relaxed and refreshed. Just over an hour ago, it can be regarded as clearing away some of the potential pressure accumulated over the past decade. He went to the front desk to buy 2 bottles of water. When he returned to the room on the second floor, Zhang Zuli was still sitting on the bed, covered with a quilt, recalling a dream she had just had. Just after taking a nap for more than an hour, she had a dream of playing in the wild with Zhengren in a small forest. The sound of opening the door sounded at this time, and Zhang Zuli was startled and asked, "Zhengren? Is it you? Lin Zhengren came over and put the water on the bedside table. Well, are you awake? Zhang Zuli, who had twin ponytails, saw that people relaxed, but when she thought of the dream just now and what happened before going to bed, her palm seemed to still recall some of the residual warmth at that time. It was Zhengren's. Well, I'm awake. What time are you going to pick up He Qing? Lin Zhengren lifted the quilt and sat on the bed again. He took out his cell phone and checked the time. It's 3:20 now, maybe before 4 o'clock. I'll rest for another 20 minutes and then take a taxi, he explained, although He Qing won't arrive until nearly 6 o'clock, because the high-speed rail station is in the city center, it will still take me an hour to get there. Zhang Zuli nodded in a daze, thinking that there were only 20 minutes left. Lin Zhengren saw that she was staring at him and was curious. What's wrong? Are you staring at me? Zhang Zuli hesitated and quickly shook her head and looked elsewhere. It's okay. How could I be staring at you all the time? Sitting on the bed, Lin Zhengren recalled the situation when watching the movie and asked in confusion, but Lily, you are really amazing. You always fall asleep when watching a movie with me. Do you do this when you are at home? Zhang Zuli said shyly and proudly. No. I can watch movies with my parents normally at home. And when the teacher played movies in the classroom before, I could watch them normally. That's even more amazing. Zhang Zuli was a little annoyed. Who knows, maybe I was very nervous every time I was with you, and then I was too relaxed after the movie started, so I fell asleep, she emphasized. Of course, that's just my guess. I don't know the specific situation, although I didn't watch a movie with Zhengren this time. Zhengren brought me to this kind of place specifically, and I was still very moved when I thought about it now. And I can still remember the feeling of kissing Zhengren very clearly. Her hands clenched silently. Suddenly, she felt Lin Zhengren's hand touching her ponytails. Zhang Zuli was startled. Zhengren, what are you doing? Nothing, he said casually. Can't I touch your hair? I have to say, Lily, you look really good with dyed yellow hair. I have imagined what you would look like with yellow hair before, but seeing it with my own eyes is much better than I imagined. So cute. She was very shy. Is it that good looking? Why is it so exaggerated? Lin Zhengren did not give a direct answer. Just uttered, I should have told you before, right? In my eyes, the cutest girl is you. Although you are noisy all day long, every time you walk or shake your head, the twin ponytails behind you bounce and turn around, which is very interesting. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips and turned her head. Tisk. Why do you seem to be so noisy? She suddenly whispered. But as long as you like it, huh? Zhang Zuli closed her eyes and answered loudly in shame. I said as long as you are happy. Anyway. Isn't it for you, a big idiot, to see me every day? If you think it's cute, I will continue to wear this hairstyle. If you don't like it, I will change it. Anyway, I am your girlfriend, whatever you like. Lin Zhengren snorted and touched her head lovingly. So good, Zhang Zuli half lowered her head and retorted, when have I ever been bad to you, idiot? She felt that Zhengren touching her head was really comfortable, but she wanted to kiss him for a while like before going to bed. After all, Zhengren was about to pick up He Qing. If we don't kiss now, He Qing will probably live in Zhengren's house after she comes, right? I don't know when we can kiss next time. But how should I start? Should I take the initiative to tell him that I want to kiss? So weird. She glanced at the mineral water on the bedside table and got an inspiration for some reason. Zhengren, are you thirsty? Lin Zhengren stroked her ponytail, which was extremely smooth, and really played with it. It's okay. Zhang Zuli looked up at him. What do you mean it's okay? Did you buy water because you are thirsty? In this case, you must be thirsty. I'll open a bottle of water for you to drink. She wanted to get up to get the water, but Lin Zhengren hadn't let go of her hair yet, so Zhang Zuli had to let Lin Zhengren play with her hair while getting the water. After getting it, she wanted to unscrew it, but found that the water was very difficult to unscrew. Lin Zhengren said, I'll do it. He unscrewed the bottle cap and wanted to drink water, but Zhang Zuli suddenly took it away. Don't drink it, let me drink it first. Zhang Zuli raised the bottle and took a big gulp. Lin Zhengren wondered what this girl wanted to do. She blushed. You know, mineral water has no taste, it's not delicious at all, so you can kiss. Before she finished speaking, Lin Zhengren suddenly pulled her into his arms. Although I don't know what you are going to say, but your face is so red, I can guess what you are going to do. Kiss yourself. Zhang Zuli stared at Lin Zhengren stupidly, wondering what was wrong with Zhengren. His eyes seemed to be unsatisfied. Could it be that he was still missing the kiss before? Zhang Zuli's lips slowly touched Lin Suhengren's lips, then hugged Lin Suhengren's neck again, opened her red lips slightly and kissed him wholeheartedly. Just when Zhang Zuli wanted to support his body with her other hand, suddenly touched the place where she had slept, the bedsheet was a little wet. Chapter 211, Flirtatious. The wetness on the bedsheet calmed Zhang Zuli down instantly. She touched it with her hand to make sure it was wet. She felt shy and embarrassed and wanted to pull the quilt over to cover it. What was going on? Did I wet the bed? She remembered the dream she had at noon. No way, that would be too embarrassing. Lin Suhengren also noticed that Zhang Zuli had become strange, and he slightly opened his eyes and looked at her in confusion. What's wrong? Zhang Zuli quickly retorted. It's okay. What's wrong? He saw that the other party seemed to be trying to cover something, so he tilted his head and looked over. Zhang Zuli moved her body to hide. Lin Suhengren was puzzled. Why are you blocking me? Get out of the way. No, she bit her lips in shame. Move over, let me see what it is. You're awesome. Lin Suhengren touched her face with one hand, and Zhang Zuli trembled. Taking advantage of this trembling time, Lin Suhengren put his arm around her waist and hugged her in his arms, revealing the position of the bedsheet behind her. There was a visible spot with water stains, although it was not big. Huh? Zhang Zuli was so embarrassed that she wanted to block Lin Suhengren's eyes with her hands. Don't look, idiot. But Lin Suhengren said, I've seen it. What's the situation? Did you wet the bed? She was stunned. No. How old am I? How could I wet the bed? I accidentally dripped water on the bed when I was drinking just now. Really? Yes. What else could it be? Zhang Zuli didn't know what to say. She turned her face away secretly, not looking at Lin Suhengren, but the tip of her ears was red. Lin Suhengren saw that her expression matched, but he was a little surprised. Then you are really careless. Zhang Zuli didn't say anything. After waiting for a while, she retorted, what do you care about me? The room was a little quiet. Zhang Zuli looked elsewhere and asked in a low voice, Suhengren, why don't you talk? What? She was speechless. You can say anything, but I feel weird when you don't talk. Nothing to say. It's good, I believe it. You. Humph, but I still remember what you said before, that we should take it slow, from holding hands to hugging to kissing. This time we really did it all. I don't have time this time. I will be really rude next time. Zhang Zuli responded with a trembling voice. Well, anyway, didn't we agree before? I will secretly find you at night when we go to the mountains for a trip. At that time, you can do whatever you want. It was almost 4 o'clock, and it was time to pack up and prepare to check out. Zhang Zuli got out of the bed and sat on the edge of the bed, putting on 2 small white socks and shoes. She untied the rope for the ponytail again and gathered her hair into 2 strands with her hands. She tied it into 2 ponytails again. Just before going to the bathroom, Zhang Zuli saw Lin Suhengren playing with his mobile phone and asked, Suhengren, huh? Not very small. What do you mean very small? He looked up. Zhang Zuli pursed her lips. It's just my height, weight, measurements. Lin Suhengren understood and smiled. It's just right. You are not that tall. This figure is perfect, very suitable. Zhang Zuli felt a little satisfied and walked into the bathroom and muttered, that's good, but Suhengren, you Lin Suhengren heard her mumbling something and sweat on his forehead. He thought it was not necessary. After that, Lin Suhengren also put on his coat, but when he accidentally knocked Lily's pillow crooked, he suddenly saw that there were 4 boxes of condoms hidden under her pillow. And each box contained 10. Lin Suhengren slightly widened his eyes. Lily has a big appetite. When did you buy so many condoms? Zhang Zuli in the bathroom said impatiently. What? It was my first time to buy and I didn't know how many were in a box, so I bought a few more boxes. I bought them when I got you a bath towel. It's not a matter of appetite. Lin Suhengren remembered that the bathroom was almost not soundproof. He replied, it won't be wasted anyway, just use it later. Zhang Zuli didn't say anything inside. Nothing to say. But when she sat on the toilet, checked some things, she found out how it became like this. This thing can't be worn anymore, just throw it away. After packing up her things, Zhang Zuli took out the clothes she bought and let Lin Suhengren try them on before checking out. She thought they were really good looking, so she packed them up and left the hotel. Zhang Zuli asked on the side of the road, Suhengren, are we going to pick up He Qing now? Well, go early, otherwise if that girl gets off the car and doesn't see anyone, she will definitely call me endlessly. Zhang Zuli thought that Suhengren really liked He Qing. This idiot is good in everything, but he is so fickle. He suddenly became puzzled. Are you going to? Zhang Zuli nodded. Well, after all, He Qing and I are both your girlfriends. We will definitely live together in the future. How can I not pick her up when she comes to the town? We are sisters. Lin Zhangren nodded. Then let's go together. I'll take a taxi. While waiting for the car, Zhang Zuli casually asked, is He Qing staying at your house tonight? At first I was planning to let her stay at my house, but He Qing said she wanted to stay in a hotel for a few days and said it was inconvenient at my house, so she decided not to go. After picking her up, I have to help her find a house. Yeah, she didn't think much about it at first. That's right. Although He Qing is quite familiar with my uncle and aunt, she is a guest at your house after all. The taxi came soon, and she suddenly realized something was wrong. Wait a minute. Zhangren, do you mean you're going to accompany He Qing to find a house today? Did you originally plan to get a room with her tonight? Lin Zhangren looked down at Zhang Zuli, who was shocked. Strictly speaking, yes, she clenched her fists and said jealously, then are you still planning to go home tonight? It depends, who would believe it? There's so much time in one night. Would you two have finished everything? No, Zhangren and He Qing must not sleep together at night, otherwise Zhangren's hand was dishonest when he kissed her just now. If there was more time, he would definitely. Zhang Zuli felt that, if He Qing is afraid to sleep alone, I will sleep with He Qing these few days. If you don't leave, then we can go together. Anyway, I can't let you two be alone at night. Lin Zhangren blinked. See. I said you definitely won't go home. You look like you're sorry that you can't eat meat. Zhang Zuli stared at Lin Zhangren's expression and immediately complained. The taxi came, and Lin Zhangren said helplessly, how can I have that expression? Get in the car. Zhang Zuli puffed her cheeks jealously and turned her head to snort. She is such a playboy. Chapter 212 Coincidence. Lin Zhangren and Zhang Zuli set off in a car. But after the taxi left, in the lobby on the first floor of the hotel, the little fox hid in the corner and eavesdropped on the conversation between the two. Slightly shocked. Xiao Qing is going to get a room with Brother Zhangren tonight? Not staying at Brother Zhangren's house? Brother Zhangren did mention this when he came to see me just now. But because I was doing that kind of thing, I didn't ask in detail, nor did I think about it. Now I think that Xiao Qing didn't even tell me that she came to the town from the south this time. Han Wenwen took out her mobile phone to confirm that He Qing didn't send her a message to come over. Since there was no message, it proves that Xiao Qing didn't plan to tell anyone this time. That is to say, if Brother Zhangren went to pick up Xiao Qing alone, something would definitely happen tonight. It seems that after graduating from high school, everyone is really eyeing Brother Zhangren, and they all want Brother Zhangren's first time. Han Wenwen thought to herself, and subconsciously touched her lips again. There was still a trace of Brother Zhangren's taste in her mouth. She blushed and walked to the front desk with a room card. Check out. After checking out of the room at the front desk, Han Wenwen went out to take a taxi to the station. In the taxi, Zhang Zuli sat with Lin Zhangren, and her eyes kept stealing glances at Lin Zhangren. Lin Zhangren looked at the scenery outside the window, and suddenly turned back and asked, why do you keep looking at me? Zhang Zuli was stunned, thinking that the driver didn't turn on the radio or anything, so if she said a lot, she was afraid that the other party would hear it, so she could only mutter, nothing, I just have a question to ask you, let's talk when we get to the station. Lin Zhangren was puzzled, but not in a hurry. After that, Zhang Zuli leaned on Lin Zhangren's shoulder tentatively. Signed silently. Zhang Zuli was very quiet during the 1-hour journey. After arriving at the station, the two found a place where no one was around and sat down. Lin Zhangren asked, can you tell me what happened? Zhang Zuli responded, nothing. You didn't seem to explain to me about Fang Meng. It's been many days. Are you familiar with Fang Meng? Why did you go to sing with her and have a scandal? And you said she was taking care of her uncle and aunt. Lin Zhangren blinked. So it was this matter, Zhang Zuli said jealously. You didn't think I forgot it, did you? Of course I wouldn't forget such an important thing. If I don't care about such a thing, then I'm not a good girlfriend. You are the most important person to me. She liked to clench her fists when she was nervous. Lin Zhangren didn't hesitate. Actually, Fang Meng and I just had that little thing. Nothing happened. The reason why I went to KTV with her was because she had a quarrel with Zhang Jin during that time. As for why I helped her, it was because Lin Zhangren simply told her about those things again. Zhang Zuli's lively and lovely eyes slowly widened. What? You and Fang Meng were also engaged as children. How come there is another engaged as children? Her voice was a little loud, and some people waiting nearby heard it. Zhang Zuli apologized to others awkwardly. Then she was full of jealousy. What's going on, Zhengren? How come there is another engaged as children? Wasn't your previous engaged as children Zhang Jin? Lin Zhengren thought that her reaction was exactly the same as Han Wenwen's, and it was estimated that the next sentence he said would be similar. My parents arranged the engaged as children with Fang Mang. As for Zhang Jin and me, Zhang Jin and I were not engaged as children. My other engaged as children was actually Zhang Jingxi. Zhang Jingxi? Wait, who are you talking about? Zhang Jing. Lin Zhengren covered her mouth and motioned her to be quieter. Although Lily's voice was not too loud, it was at the station after all. Zhang Zuli's mouth was covered, and she thought of the beautiful and gentle President Zhang of Xiangxi Group before. No wonder he felt something was wrong when he saw her. Because she seemed to be particularly good to Zhengren. And Zhengren, as the general manager of Xiangxi Group, and Zhang Jingxi, as the deputy general manager, had a close relationship. Although nothing had happened between Zhengren and her yet, this was not good news. Zhang Zuli whimpered twice, meaning that Lin Zhengren could take his hand covering her mouth away and she would not speak loudly. Only then did Lin Zhengren take his hand away. The golden-dyed complete Lily looked at Lin Zhengren proudly, turned her head and snorted again. I don't know what to say, but all beautiful girls are related to you. How fickle you are. Have I been fickle recently? It's still you guys. Zhang Zuli wanted to refute, but think about it, the child marriage was not what Zhengren wanted, it fell from the sky. But Fang Meng, Zhang Jin, and Zhang Jingxi always felt that none of these three women were easy to deal with, and each of them was beautiful and had so much contact with Zhengren. She saw that Lin Zhengren's collar was a little crooked, and reached out to straighten it for him unconvinced. At this time, Lily glanced unintentionally and suddenly saw a familiar figure appearing in the distance. The figure slowly walked towards this side. Zhang Zuli felt that it was a coincidence. This was the second time she met him today. Han Wenwen, wearing a yellow and white dress, walked over. The little fox was holding a handbag in her hand, as if she was shopping. Lily, classmate Lin Zhengren? What a coincidence, we meet again. She waved her hand with a smile. Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli looked at Han Wenwen together. Lin Zhengren's eyes were subtle, as if asking with his eyes, why didn't you go home? Han Wenwen bit her lip lightly, and Lin Zhengren knew what she meant from this action. This fox's habit of being clingy was not something that only started today. Han Wenwen smiled and said, why are you here? And Lily, has your hair been dyed? It looks so good. Zhang Zuli was a little happy to be praised. She smoothed her hair with her hand, but at the same time she felt that it was too coincidental. Thank you, Han Wenwen. Why are you shopping here? You came to the city alone. Han Wenwen made up a random excuse. I have nothing to do on holiday anyway. I saw a video online saying that a dessert shop opened in our city, so I came to take a look. I was just strolling around and didn't expect to run into you again. By the way, why are you two here at the station? Lin Zhengren, to pick up He Qing. Han Wenwen sat on the other side of Lin Zhengren. Is He Qing coming? Zhang Zuli was curious. Didn't He Qing tell you? Han Wenwen shook her head. No. Did she say she would come back a week later on the day of our graduation? I thought she would come back a week later. Zhang Zuli thought for a moment, thinking that He Qing didn't even tell Han Wenwen. It seems that she must have some plans tonight. Han Wenwen, since we ran into you, let's wait together. Zhang Zuli nodded. Han Wenwen took out a lollipop from her handbag and handed it to Zhang Zuli and Lin Zhengren. Lily took it and said thank you. Lin Zhengren said he didn't want to eat it. Han Wenwen also unwrapped a lollipop and wanted to put it in her mouth, but just as it touched her lips, she suddenly hissed. Zhang Zuli asked, what's wrong? Han Wenwen blushed and said perfunctorily, nothing, my mouth is a little tired and numb. Tired mouth? Why would your mouth be tired? Lily didn't understand. It's because of chewing gum. I ate too much today. I won't eat this candy anymore. She had to wrap the lollipop in toilet paper and throw it into the trash can next to her. At this time, Lin Zhengren watched Han Wenwen's actions. After Han Wenwen sat down, she bit her lower lip and glanced at Lin Zhengren. Her coquettish eyes seemed to say, it's all Brother Zhengren's fault. I'll post this chapter first. I don't know when the previous one will be released. Chapter 213 Responsibility. It was almost 6 o'clock, and Lin Zhengren's cell phone rang. It was He Qing calling. Hello, Zhengren? Have you arrived? My high-speed train will arrive soon. While Lin's Hengren was on the phone, the two women beside him looked at him. Yeah, I've arrived a long time ago. You can see me when you come out, Xiao He Qing replied sweetly on the phone. Sitting on the high-speed train, she used her cell phone as a mirror and fiddled with her hair on her forehead and temples with her hands, trying to show Lin's Hengren a beautiful and good impression. She imagined what would happen tonight. If she could be alone with him tonight. Even if she wouldn't do the kind of thing, kissing and hugging would always be okay, right? After all, the college entrance examination is over, and I have to get closer to him. With the announcement of the high-speed train arriving at the station, the high-speed train slowly stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to the Greenvine City passenger train. On behalf of all the crew members, I greet you. For your travel safety, please pay attention to the following matters. Ladies and gentlemen, many people who came to the station to pick up people heard the voice and stood up to wait for their relatives and friends. Soon the high-speed rail door opened, and many people poured out. Little He Qing was pulling the luggage. The girl was wearing a small skirt and a thin white shirt. Her ponytail swayed with her figure. Her sweet eyes tried to search for someone. Until she found Lin's Hengren in the crowd, she shouted happily, "Lin's Hengren!" Just as she was about to speed up, she saw two familiar figures standing behind Lin's Hengren. Little He Qing was stunned there stupidly, with a sense of failure on her face. Lily, Wenwen? Why are they here too? And Lily's hair, she saw that Lily's blonde hair was particularly beautiful with two ponytails. The four of them gathered together. Little He Qing smiled, "I'm here, why are Wenwen and Lily here to pick me up?" Zhang Zuli put her hands behind her back and said with a smile, "I accidentally heard that you were coming when I was shopping for clothes with Hengren today. We are good sisters, so I must come to pick you up." Han Wenwen smiled, "I was just passing by and happened to meet Lin's Hengren and Lily. I heard that you were coming, so I have been waiting." "But didn't Xiao He Qing say that she would come next week? Why are you here earlier this time?" Little He Qing glanced at Lin's Hengren. Although she sighed that the plan failed, she was satisfied to see Lin's Hengren. She really missed him too much at home. Even the food was not so delicious. He laughed and said, "I have nothing to do at home, and you are all here. I am bored in the south, so I came here early." It was a sudden decision. "By the way, Lily, your hair looks so beautiful after you dyed it yellow. It suits you so well. When did you do it?" Zhang Zuli shyly stroked her hair with her hand. "Really? I dyed it today. I have always wanted to dye it before. Hengren also said that I would look better with yellow hair, so I thought I would dye it when I have time." Little He Qing was a little jealous in her heart and glanced at Lin's Hengren again. Lin's Hengren went to take Little He Qing's suitcase. "Then let's go eat? He Qing is tired after sitting in the car all day, and it's almost 6 o'clock. The three girls had no objection. As long as Lin's Hengren spoke, everyone would naturally listen to him. But when Lin's Hengren took the suitcase, Little He Qing whispered, "I can pull it myself. This box is very heavy. Are there any valuables in it?" "No, just some clothes for travel and some daily necessities." She shook her head. Lin's Hengren said, "Then just give it to me directly." Seeing his determination, Little He Qing had to obediently hand the suitcase to Lin's Hengren. "If you think it's heavy, we can take turns pulling it." Lin's Hengren smiled, "It's not that exaggerated. Let's go." Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen heard the conversation between the two. The former pretended not to care and continued to walk beside Lin's Hengren, but she was thinking in her heart that He Qing was really sweet every time she talked to Hengren. Han Wenwen also took Little He Qing's arm. She didn't have any thoughts in her mind. After all, the two best friends were very familiar with each other. She was just jealous. They found a noodle shop. There were the most such noodle shops near the station. And the three little ones were indeed hungry, so they didn't go anywhere else. Sitting at the table, Little He Qing wiped the chopsticks for everyone and handed them to everyone. Several people said thank you. While waiting, He Qing asked the two girls, "Do you two want dessert? I brought some sticky bean curd from home. My mother made them. They are delicious. I'll take them out for you to try, but there's not much." She packed most of the sticky bean curd separately. They can only be given to Lin's Hengren and cannot be touched. When Han Wenwen heard about the sticky bean curd, she nodded excitedly. The two besties were particularly enthusiastic about this special snack. "Auntie, did you make sticky bean curd again this year? Okay, let me have one to try." Lily also nodded, "Thank you, He Qing." He Qing opened the suitcase. "Wait a moment, She rummaged through the suitcase and found 2 boxes, one large and one small. She found the small box and took it to the table. There were 6 small sticky bean curds in it. She originally prepared it for Wenwen and Lily. He Qing handed one of them to Lin Zhengren first. Lin Zhengren, I'll give it to you first. You eat it first. After Lin Zhengren took it, He Qing gave it to the other 2. The 3 of them took a bite, and Lin Zhengren was surprised and said, Auntie's cooking is really delicious. Little He Qing laughed, really? I think it's very good too. If you like it, I'll learn from my mother someday, and I'll make it for you when I have time in the future. Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen also tasted it and were particularly impressed, but Han Wenwen suddenly slowed down her chewing. Little He Qing noticed that something was wrong with Han Wenwen. What's wrong, Wenwen? Is it not delicious? It seems to taste weird to you. Han Wenwen's cheeks suddenly turned red, thinking that she didn't feel anything when she was in the hotel just now. But now her lips are indeed a little tired. She is still not very skilled. No, I ate too much today and my cheeks are tired. Little He Qing didn't understand. Tired cheeks? Did you eat a lot of snacks today? Han Wenwen answered casually. Not too much, I just saw a very novel candy when I was shopping in the afternoon. It's white, sticky and sweet. It's very tiring to eat. Little He Qing was surprised. What candy? It sounds a bit like the sticky candy I ate when I was a child. I would also feel tired if I eat that kind. Where did you buy it? Han Wenwen waved her hands. It's not that kind. It's a kind I haven't eaten before. It tastes delicious, but the boss seems to say it's a trial product, so it hasn't been officially sold yet. Next time I have a chance, I will accompany Zhao Qingqing to that street again to see if I can find it. If I find it, let's... Han Wenwen couldn't help laughing when she said this, because she said something off topic. Let's buy it and eat it together, okay? That sounds good. After that, Han Wenwen continued to chew the sticky rice dumplings slowly, while Lin Zhengren looked at a certain fox helplessly. The noodles came quickly. Although the taste was average, it was very filling to eat slowly. When leaving the noodle shop, Lin Zhengren took a taxi. After the 4 of them got in, he sat in the passenger seat, and the others sat in the back. He Qing, I'll find you a house to live in after we get back to town. Little He Qing nodded. Yes, Zhang Zuli whispered beside her. He Qing, I'll stay with you in the hotel tonight? Let's chat and have fun together. Although Little He Qing wanted to be alone with Lin Zhengren, she knew that since Wenwen and Lily were there, it was basically impossible. Okay, I haven't stayed in a hotel before, and I'm afraid of staying there for the first time. Han Wenwen, then I'll come too. Anyway, I'll sleep alone when I go back alone. Little He Qing nodded again. Okay, Wenwen will come too. After the 3 of them finished speaking, they suddenly looked at Lin Zhengren in tacit understanding subconsciously. Lin Zhengren happened to turn around at this time and saw that the 3 of them were looking at him. He said casually, why don't I stay too? Although there are 3 of you, I am worried about leaving you there on the first night. Although the 3 girls were surprised, they did not understand. However, the driver was shocked. He was stunned. Did he hear it wrong? What did this guy say just now? Oh, yes, he should mean to stay in the same hotel with these girls. One of them should be his girlfriend. He went to protect their safety. It is impossible for them to stay in the same room. Yes, that must be the case. The young man is very responsible. Chapter 214 The Ultimate Spiritual Liquid. After getting off the taxi, Lin Zhengren took the 3 girls to find a hotel in the town that was close to his home. He tried to pick a hotel with a better environment. Because He Qing lived in the town when she was a child, and often came here to play in junior high and high school, she was very familiar with the environment of the town. So although it was her first time staying in a hotel, Little He Qing was not that scared. She pulled her suitcase into the hotel. The receptionist saw that there were 4 people and asked curiously, accommodation? Well, open a king-size bedroom for a week first, and then renew it if you still want to stay after a week. 1 week? You guys only open 1 room? Little He Qing glanced at Lin Zhengren, as if asking him what to say. Lin Zhengren answered the clerk and pointed at He Qing. Well, she lives here by herself. The 3 of us came here with her and will leave soon. Little He Qing agreed. Yes, I live here by myself. The receptionist responded, recorded He Qing's ID card and handed her the room card. Okay, 203. Lin Zhengren thanked her, and the 4 of them went to the 2nd floor together. During the trip, Han Wenwen took her arm and asked curiously, Zhao Qingqing, do you plan to stay in a hotel during this trip? He Qing nodded. It's more convenient to stay in a hotel. I actually thought about staying at Lin Sehengren's house or Wenwen's house, but I'm afraid of disturbing you. It's not so convenient. Han Wenwen was puzzled. Disturbing? He Qing and I have lived in the dormitory together for so many years. Are you afraid of disturbing me? He Qing glanced at Han Wenwen shyly, with words in her eyes. Han Wenwen immediately understood He Qing's thoughts. She really wanted to be alone with Lin Sehengren, so it was inconvenient to stay at anyone's house. It was most convenient to live out. Swipe the card to enter the room, so the 4 people are all there. The hotel, which was originally an ambiguous place, has become like a dormitory, without any ambiguous atmosphere. Lin Sehengren plugged in the room card and powered on the electricity with ease. He Qing also sat on the bed with his suitcase, a little tired. Let out a sigh. It's really tiring to sit in the car all day. So you will all stay here with me tonight, the others must be there. Lin Sehengren took off his coat and put it aside. You just arrived today, I will stay here with you for one night, tomorrow you can take a day off, and the day after tomorrow you can pack up and we will go out for a trip. Everyone responded in unison. At this moment, little He Qing secretly looked at someone, thinking that it would be better if Wenwen and Lily were not there. Lily stood there and thought, fortunately let Sehengren accompany her to go out to dye her hair today, otherwise He Qing would definitely do that kind of thing with Sehengren tonight, because Sehengren obviously had no intention of going home. Han Wenwen didn't say anything at this moment, just staring at Lin Sehengren, still thinking about what happened when they were alone in the afternoon. The town was quiet at night. Lin Sehengren was lying in the middle of the bed, and little He Qing, who was wearing clothes, was lying on Lin Sehengren's left hand, and Jiang Zuli was lying on Lin Sehengren's right hand. Next to little He Qing was Han Wenwen. The 4 people lay flat on the bed and looked at the ceiling. Han Wenwen was holding the remote control next to them. Then I turned off the lights, in unison. Yes, the lights went out. It was dark. Lin Sehengren was curious in the dark. Is it a bit crowded? Jiang Zuli said helplessly. After all, there are 4 people. Although the double bed is already very large, 4 people are a bit too much, little He Qing whispered. When I came, I really didn't expect that everyone would sleep together tonight. Lin Sehengren thought that if the double bed was so crowded, then he would marry these little guys in the future. It seems that the bed in the bedroom must be made bigger, at least one bed should be bigger. After all, everyone will definitely sleep in the same bed occasionally. Especially girls will communicate with each other. Jiang Zuli, Sehengren, why don't you talk? What are you thinking about? Lin Sehengren told the truth. I'm thinking, after I go to college, why don't I buy a house, a bigger house, then you don't have to live on campus, you can all live with me. Everyone was surprised in unison. First, they were shocked that the idea of living together was crazy, and second, buying a house was even crazier. Han Wenwen was surprised. Lin Sehengren wants to buy a house? How much does it cost? Little He Qing also felt that it was unrealistic. Renting a house is okay. If everyone can get together, it's possible. If we buy a house, we can't afford it. This is a first-tier city. Houses in the city are very expensive. It is said that 100 square meters costs several million. Jiang Zuli also felt that the topic of buying a house didn't seem to fit the current situation. But if Sehengren wants to buy a house, it shouldn't be a problem. After all, Sehengren is also the general manager of Jiangxi Company. Although I don't know how much money he can make every year now. But no matter how much, he can afford a house. By the way, He Qing and Han Wenwen didn't know that Sehengren also had the identity of general manager? Lin Sehengren closed his eyes and said, I just have this idea. Let's talk about it after I go to college. If I really buy it, I will take you to see a house. After a moment of silence, Lin Sehengren suddenly said, by the way, you guys all smell so good. Did you all take a shower before going out? I don't remember smelling so good when I was in school. I feel like I'm lying in flowers. Everyone blushed in the dark. I thought that when I meet my sweetheart, I must take a shower and wash my face before going out, and I can't be careless at all. But almost instantly, He Qing was puzzled after a moment. Why did Lin Sehengren say several? Logically speaking, although Wenwen and Lin Sehengren are good friends, the topic of whether she smells good is a bit private, but Lin Sehengren never says such things to people who are not his girlfriend. A few days ago, you, the eldest princess, He Xiangzi, Miss Jiang, the demon sect witch, led the army to repel the enemy outside the city. In order to celebrate the victory, a banquet was held in the imperial city for several days. During this period, the eldest princess saw a common woman confessing her love to you, and she took the initiative to kiss you and help you out. Although the reason for the kiss was reasonable and she did not say the word love, the brave and cold-hearted eldest princess had never done this to a man, which shows your status in the eldest princess's heart. At the end of the banquet, the eldest princess's personal assassin, Fang Men, the most powerful woman in the imperial city, also kissed you on the cheek when they were alone, and secretly developed feelings for you. A few days later, after the war, the leisure time came. You practiced at home as usual. Miss Zhang called you and asked you to accompany her to the market to clean up. Miss Zhang changed her hairstyle and dressed more beautifully. While shopping, she also bought you some high-quality clothes. You and Miss Zhang fell in love and checked into the hotel. During that time, the two of you were under the moonlight. Although they didn't do anything sexual due to time constraints, they did have some intimate time. However, you were taken advantage of by the demon cult witch who followed you to later. On that day, the demon cult witch saw that Miss Zhang had made you so angry that your blood and energy were attacking your heart. Your body was hot and you couldn't concentrate, so she used her unique skills to relieve your pressure, and also obtained your unique top-grade spiritual fluid. In the above events, you gained a total of 2 physical strength, 1 energy, and 1 spiritual level. Your current attributes are Spirit level 67, Jiden stage, Spirit control, level 2, you can use spiritual power to control objects, and you can also walk on water to cross the river. Physical strength, 99. The ability to break through the upper limit of lifespan, improve physical strength, and double cultivation has been unlocked. Spirit, 99. The ability to make your descendants strong and have sex 7 times a night has been unlocked. Affinity with all things, level 2. You have an absolute talent for all things. At the same time, all the disciples you teach can be improved, and those who sign the contract will have a 3-fold improvement. Lin's Hengren, who is about to fall asleep, listened to the system start calculating again, thinking that his physical strength and energy were just a little bit away from being full, so it seemed that this mountain trip would have a big breakthrough. After a night, the next morning, everyone got up, and Han Wenwen felt inexplicably energetic. The tired feeling on her lips yesterday also disappeared, and she felt relaxed all over. She wanted to go to the bathroom to wash her face. On the way out of bed, Xiao Heking asked unexpectedly while looking for clothes, "Huh? Wenwen, what did you do last night? How did your skin become so good?" Chapter 215 Lin Hengren has a company? The little fox stretched lazily and didn't understand what He Qing meant at first. "What do you mean your skin has improved?" Zhang Zuli also stood up and looked at Han Wenwen. She saw that Han Wenwen's originally fair skin was now fatally crystal clear. Others would be disheveled after a night, and even the most beautiful girls would not have any energy after waking up. They would become very sleepy. But Han Wenwen's pupils with charming eyes were clear, her skin was as soft as a baby's, and crystal clear under the sunlight. Although there were still a few strands of her long hair stuck to her face because of sleeping, her whole complexion was rosy. It gave people a visual impact like a sleeping beauty. Glittering. Really? Han Wenwen, you are so beautiful this morning. Little He Qing felt that she was not wrong, right, Lily? Wenwen's current state is obviously different from last night. Zhang Zuli nodded vigorously. Lin's Hengren also noticed the changes in Han Wenwen, but after a moment he understood that this should be the effect of the energy attribute, right? When I was talking about improving my energy, I mentioned that if the girl I signed a contract with sleeps with me, her lifespan, appearance and physique will be partially enhanced according to her attributes. It's just that Lin Hengren never had time to use this ability before, so he didn't expect that it would be useful for something like yesterday. Come to think of it, it seems that the system mentions something about a top-grade spiritual liquid before going to bed. Han Wenwen, who was sitting on the bed at this moment, saw that everyone was staring at her with envy, and she touched her face with her hand. Is your reaction real? I'm going to the bathroom to look in the mirror now. Han Wenwen went to the bathroom in slippers. As soon as she saw herself in the mirror, Han Wenwen was stunned. The beautiful fox opened her eyes wide, looking at herself with fair skin and full of energy, and covered her face in shock. Really? How could this be? She approached the mirror, looked left and right, and even her lips were temptingly red. Zhang Zuli and He Qing also followed her to the bathroom and asked. Little He Qing asked enviously, Wenwen, what did you do last night? Or what did you do in the past few days? How can there be such a big change in just one night? Zhang Zuli was puzzled. Yes, how did you do it? Can you tell us too? Han Wenwen was happy but didn't understand. It's not that I don't tell you, it's mainly because I don't know what's going on, because I haven't been any different in the past few days, that is, little He Qing, that is. The little fox suddenly stroked his lips with his hand, remembering that yesterday afternoon, he insisted on saying that he had done something different from before, so he helped Brother Zhengren relieve the pressure in the hotel. Could it be related to that incident? Han Wenwen has read many novels, and many novels say that after sleeping with a person she likes, a girl's complexion and skin will show signs of improvement. She thought it was nonsense, but she didn't expect it to be true. Looking at the mirror again, she thought, if this is the case, then isn't this much better than those messy facial masks, toners and the like? No, not much. It should be said that it is far beyond the effect of those things. Then if you want to be beautiful, just chase after Brother Zhengren and do the kind of thing every day. Although the above is just a guess, Han Wenwen thinks it is probably true. Jiang Zuli, Wenwen? Do you remember? Han Wenwen came back to her senses and laughed shyly twice, waving her hands. No, I was recalling what I did in the past 2 days, but there is really no change in my life. I don't know why it happened. Maybe it has something to do with me going to bed very early these 2 days. He Qing blinked her innocent eyes. Will it be like this if you go to bed early? I really haven't gone to bed early recently, but will there be such a big difference between staying up late and not staying up late? Han Wenwen perfunctorily said, I am just guessing. Who knows what the phenomenon is? Lin Zhengren looked at the message sent on his mobile phone from the bed. It was sent by Jiang Jingshi to him, asking him when he would come over. Today he promised to go to the company to take a look. He replied briefly, then sat up quickly, put on his socks and coat, and finished work early. You three, I have something to do today, so you should take a good rest these 2 days and prepare for the trip next week. The 3 girls walked out of the bathroom to see him. Han Wenwen was puzzled. Lin Zhengren is leaving. He Qing, Lin Zhengren, do you have something to do today? Well, it's just some small things of my own. You 3 don't have to worry about it. He didn't say anything nonsense but washed his face and walked directly to the door. The 3 girls hurried to the door of the room to see him off. Lin Zhengren put on his shoes and turned around and said, you 3 don't have to come out to see me off. I'm leaving. Jiang Zuli thought Zhengren was going to the company, right? He mentioned this when they first met yesterday. Then Zhengren, will you come back tonight? I should come to see you, and I'll call you when I'm done, but I guess you 3 will still be here tonight, so I definitely won't sleep here tonight. This bed is quite crowded for 4 people. Let's go. He raised his hand to say goodbye. Little He Qing, Jiang Zuli, and Han Wenwen watched Lin Zhengren leave together. He Qing whispered, Lily and I are here. Why is he gone? Is there something wrong at home? Han Wenwen shook her head. Jiang Zuli blurted out, he went to the company. Little He Qing and Han Wenwen looked at Jiang Zuli, not understanding, and said in unison, company? What company? Jiang Zuli laughed, you 2 really don't know. In fact, Zhang Ren is the general manager of a company. The scale of this company is not small. He has not had time to go there for some time. I guess he went to a meeting today. He Qing and Han Wenwen were stunned at first. Then they were puzzled. He is the general manager of a company. When did it happen? Jiang Zuli had sweat on her forehead. I always thought you 2 knew. This company has been open for more than 2 years. It is the Zhangxi Entertainment Company that has been very popular in the city recently. The 2 people's brains were still dull, and they felt that they were listening to sleep talking. Jiang Zuli changed her statement to a simpler one. Isn't the company I signed with called Zhangxi Music? It's under Zhengren, so I'm considered his employee. And He Qing, didn't Lin Zhengren take you to join a sports company before, and you also participated in the city's competition? It's called Zhangxi Sports. Little He Qing had never thought about this. Lily means that the boss of this Zhangxi Sports I joined is Lin Zhengren. But Lin Zhengren is only 18 years old. And where did he get the money to start a company? Is this reasonable? Jiang Zuli was helpless. 18 years old is okay. After all, he was only 16 when I knew about this. I'm not sure about the money. He said before that it was a joint venture with that person, but he is indeed the general manager. Besides, whether it is reasonable or not, do you think Zhengren is a normal person? She blinked her lively big eyes. Zhengren has excellent grades since he was a child. He always ranks first in every exam. He has won a lot of random awards, even though he didn't take the initiative. He is handsome, has a good figure and temperament. Not only does he have 2 relationships at the same time, But the two relationships don't fight with each other and follow him wholeheartedly. She swallowed her saliva. Even if we add the fact that he started a company, it would be ridiculous for others, but it makes sense for Zhengren. What do you think? There was a moment of silence. He Qing, it's true. I always felt that Lin Zhengren had no shortcomings when it came to important things, except that he was a little fierce and a little philandering. Zhang Zuli continued, and add the fact that he was a chatterbox. And I feel that Zhengren has become more and more chatty recently. Chapter 216 Young Boss. Lin Zhengren took a taxi to the headquarters of Jiangxi Company. At this moment, in the general manager's office on the 7th floor of Jiangxi Company, Zhang Jingxi was holding a piece of white soft cloth that had just been unwrapped. She was personally wiping Lin Zhengren's desk. Today, Zhang Jingxi was dressed the most carefully in recent days. Although she still looked like she was wearing a woman's suit as usual, it was basically the same. But in fact, almost all the small details from top to bottom were new. She specially went to a stylist yesterday to get her hair done. Her long hair, which was originally not very shapeless due to long hours of work, became slightly curled again under the styling of the stylist. The silver white necklace and earrings were also newly bought, as well as the shirt she was wearing inside today, all carefully selected. Even her nails were specially trimmed by someone last night. She also took a hot bath when she came in the morning. Her whole spirit and energy seemed different from usual. Secretary Pan Lin walked out of the office and knocked on the door. Mr. Zhang Jingxi looked at him and asked with a smile on her face, Mr. Lin is here. Pan Lin shook her head, sighing that Mr. Zhang was in an unusually good mood today, which was very different from the previous few days. Not yet. I told the guard to tell me as soon as Mr. Lin arrived, but I just sent a message to Mr. Lin, asking if he wanted a special car to pick him up, and he said no, just take a taxi. Zhang Jingxi nodded. Well, let him come whenever he wants. In the past, he and Lily also liked to take a taxi when they went to Jiangxi Music. Pan Lin held the documents in his hand. These are documents from the finance department. Well, just put it there, I'll show it to him later. Okay. Pan Lin walked into the office and put it on the coffee table that was already full of documents. It seemed that Mr. Lin would have to stay here for a whole day just to discuss these tasks. She put down the documents and looked back to see Zhang Jingxi still wiping the desk carefully. Boss Zhang, let me do it. Boss Lin should be here soon. Go wash your hands. Zhang Jingxi wiped the last corner and handed the white soft cloth to her secretary Pan Lin. How is my makeup today? Zhang Jingxi wore light makeup today, just a little tidying up her lips and face. Pan Lin smiled. You asked me once this morning. It's perfect, there's no flaw. That's good. Zhang Jingxi went to wash her hands, and Pan Lin gently put the things on the table in place. In fact, Pan Lin had specially cleaned the office this morning, but Zhang Jingxi was obviously too concerned, so she just recleaned many places herself. A message came from the phone. Pan Lin smiled and looked up. Boss Zhang, the guard said that Boss Lin is here. Really? Zhang Jingxi smiled and walked to the French window to look at the company's guard. Her gentle eyes lit up. She saw a taxi on the road in front of the company's door, about to stop at the door. Pan Lin took the initiative to say, then I'll go down and greet him. Tell him you're waiting here. Zhang Jingxi nodded. Go ahead. The company's security guards, who usually have 2 people in the security office, dared not stay alone today. They all ran outside to stand guard, and there were actually 4 people, including the security captain and the deputy captain. Everyone stood straight. One of them was a young security guard who had just arrived in the past 2 months. He was very curious and asked in a low voice, Captain, Deputy Captain, who is coming today? Such a big scene. The captain of the security team was a retired soldier in his 30s. The general manager of our company said he would come today. General manager, the new security guard asked while standing guard, isn't our general manager Zhang? The very beautiful one. General manager Zhang is the deputy general manager, and the general manager is not her. At first I also thought that general manager Zhang was the general manager, but later I found out after staying for a long time that she was not. Our general manager is a young man who doesn't come here often, so you don't know him, the young security guard hummed. Is that so? He's a young man, the same as general manager Zhang? In his 20s? How come the boss of such a big company is so young? The captain didn't nod, but just smiled. You still don't know much? You will know when he comes later. Oh, it seems he is coming. He quickly sent a message to Pan Lin. The young security guard stood straight, thinking what car would such a big boss drive to come? As a result, he looked out and found that there were no luxury cars on the road. Only an Audi A4 and a taxi drove over. He thought, could it be that the boss is driving an A4? This is too low-key. The taxi and the Audi stopped at the same time. A middle-aged man in his 40s got out of the Audi. He was the deputy director of the purchasing department. He didn't care about the taxi at first and walked forward. But after walking a few steps, he remembered something. Suddenly, he subconsciously looked back at the young man who got out of the taxi. He was shocked and turned back to say hello and shake hands. He whispered, "Boss Lin. You are in the company." Lin's Hengren has an excellent memory, so he recognizes the backbone of the company as long as he has met them once, and he also shakes hands with them. At this time, Pan Lin trotted over from the office building. As Jiang Jingshi's secretary, Pan Lin's position in the company is actually quite high. Many directors and ministers have to take the initiative to say hello to her when they see her. The security captain also nodded quickly. "Sister Pan," Pan Lin asked, "where's General Manager Lin?" The security captain looked into the distance. "He has already got off the car." "Got it." Pan Lin went to greet him, but the young security guard whispered to the captain, "Captain, our boss is not young either. He must be 40 years old." The security captain was speechless. "You have been here for nearly a month and you really don't recognize people. The one in his 40s is the deputy director of our purchasing department, and the one in his 17s and 18s is our general manager." "The one in his 17s and 18s? He is so young and he is the general manager." The security captain laughed. "You have learned a lot, right? I was also shocked when I came here for the first time, but don't look at General Manager Lin's young age, but he is very capable. It is said that our company has been able to develop so fast in the past 2 years thanks to General Manager Lin. By the way, you should be more energetic later. General Manager Lin is a very good person. If he thinks you are good and talks to you, there will be unexpected surprises. It depends on whether you are lucky." In the distance, Lin's Hengren shook hands with a deputy director of the purchasing department, and Pan Lin also came to Lin's Hengren. "General Manager Lin, you are here." Lin's Hengren was still very polite to Pan Lin. After all, they had known each other for a long time. "Sister Pan, long time no see." Pan Lin was flattered. "Why do you still call me like that? Just call me by my full name. President Jiang is waiting for you in your office. I'm used to being called that. Let's go upstairs." Lin's Hengren took the lead and walked towards the company, and Pan Lin and the deputy director followed behind. The security captain took the lead respectfully and said seriously, "Good morning, General Manager Lin." Lin's Hengren smiled at the other party, and when he saw the new security guard, he looked at the other party. "New one." The young security guard nodded quickly. "General Manager Lin, my name is Jiang Ming. I have been here for 2 months, and I am still in the internship period." "Well, do a good job." Lin's Hengren continued to walk towards the office building and asked Pan Lin casually, "The internship period in our company is 3 months? I remember it was not 1 month before." Pan Lin nodded. "Well, because General Manager Jiang revised the welfare system before, there are too many new employees who have applied for the company in the past year, so it was revised half a year ago." Lin's Hengren responded and did not ask more questions. Jiang Jingshi is already a genius in the operation of the company, so Lin's Hengren will not take care of everything. When the new security guard saw that he had passed by General Manager Lin and felt that good luck really didn't care about him, Pan Lin turned around and looked at the young man. "At this time, the newcomer will be converted to a regular employee 1 month in advance, and go to the administrative department to handle the procedures later." The young security guard was surprised. The security captain waited for Lin's Hengren and Pan Lin to walk away before smiling. "You are lucky, you got an extra month's salary. Let me tell you, even though Mr. Lin doesn't come often, he is the one who has the most influence in our company. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217 Nervous Jiang Jingshi. Lin's Hengren and Pan Lin were waiting for the elevator on the first floor of the office building. They happened to meet several men and women coming down the stairs. Although many people in the company did not know Lin's Hengren, they would nod and greet Pan Lin and the deputy director when they saw them. They would also nod to Lin's Hengren who is walking in front. Pan Lin pressed the elevator floor for Lin Hengren in advance. After several people got on the elevator, those female or male employees would chat curiously, "Who was that just now?" Sister Pan was following him. "He was so handsome." An old employee smiled. "Don't you know this? The president of our company." Those who didn't know him were surprised. "The handsome boy just now is the president of our company?" "The legendary general manager Lin. He is too young?" Someone asked. "By the way, I heard that General Manager Zhang is in a relationship with our general manager, right?" The old employee coughed. "Then I don't know. There are such rumors, but no one knows whether it is true or not." Lin Hengren and Pan Lin were standing in the elevator, and the deputy director got off the elevator halfway. When there were only 2 people left, Pan Lin said, "You come to the company less often, and many people in the company still don't know you." Lin Hengren smiled. "It's normal. The main reason is that even if you have time, you hardly come to the head office. I think I've been here only 3 or 5 times, and I feel that the changes are quite big every time. 2 years ago, many things in the head office were not well arranged. Now they are basically formed. Jiangxi Company has gradually gained a say in the city's enterprises." Lin Hengren understood that Jiang Jingxi had made a great contribution to this. The connections she accumulated in the Jiang Group were also used in this company to a large extent. Pan Lin suddenly said, "Boss Jiang is very happy to know that you are here today. Boss Jiang was actually in a bad state some time ago, because there were many things in the Jiang Group that made Boss Jiang very tired recently, but when you sent her a message the day before yesterday, her energy and spirit came up all of a sudden." "Is the Jiang Group very busy recently?" Lin Hengren glanced at Pan Lin. "Well, there have been a lot of calls recently, and President Jiang has to give advice on many things. As a secretary who has been with Jiang Jingxi for several years, Pan Lin actually didn't need to say some things. She has been in contact with so many big bosses for many years, and she still understands the truth that too much talk will lead to mistakes. But despite this, she still wants to work hard to get more for Jiang Jingxi." In the general manager's office on the 7th floor, Jiang Jingxi, who was wearing high heels, a women's suit, and slightly curly long hair, couldn't sit still or stand in the office. She was circling back and forth at the door and inside the house, anxiously waiting for someone to arrive. Occasionally, she would look at her phone and fiddle with the hair by her ears with her hands, and occasionally take a deep breath as if she was annoyed why she was so nervous. "It was only more than a month since we last met. Wait until the elevator arrived." Ding sound. Jiang Jingxi was stunned, adjusted her state, and sat elegantly on the sofa. Lin Hengren and Pan Lin came to the office. Jiang Jingxi stood up. As if it was not her who was anxiously waiting just now. "Brother Hengren is here." Lin Hengren nodded. "Jiang, I haven't seen you for a long time. I really don't have much time because of the college entrance examination. Thank you for being in the company during this period." Jiang Jingxi saw the person she had been thinking about, with a joy that was not easily noticed. Her red lips curled up and her voice was gentle. "What's the hard work? Anyway, there are only these things in the company. Come and sit down." Pan Lin poured tea for the 2 of them and said, "Then I will go down first. President Jiang and President Lin can call me at any time if you have anything." She quietly left the office and closed the door for them. Lin Hengren and Jiang Jingxi sat on the sofa. Seeing a pile of messy documents on it, Lin Hengren knew that there were really a lot of things going on in the company during this period. At first, the 2 hadn't seen each other for more than a month, so the conversation was a little unfamiliar. So they started to deal with work matters after chatting for a few words. It was not until about half an hour later that Jiang Jingxi seemed to recover and her mood was much calmer. Although her heart still beat when she stared at Lin Hengren, at least she could have a calm conversation. "The college entrance examination results will be out soon, right?" Lin Hengren was looking at the documents when he suddenly heard this and replied, "Yes, it will be out soon." Should he be the first this time? The provincial champion? I know Brother Hengren's ability very well. Who dares to say that he is the provincial champion before the results are out? But there is no problem in getting into the university you want to go to. By the way, the company has developed very fast in the past 2 years. The total number of employees in the 3 companies has exceeded 15,000. Jiang Jingxi nodded. "It's really fast. 2 years ago, when we didn't cooperate yet, my taekwondo, music team, and live broadcast team had a maximum of 700 to 800 players and employees. In 2 years, the number of employees has increased more than 10 times, and this is under strict screening. The turnover is still increasing every month." She saw Lin Zhengren finished his tea and poured him another cup of tea. At this rate of development, I'm afraid it will really surpass my Jiang group in less than 2 years. Lin Zhengren glanced at Jiang Jingxi and asked with a smile, has uncle and aunt already talked to you, Jiang Ji? Jiang Jingxi was delighted. More than that, the company is developing so fast that my parents are actually shocked. They ask me from time to time, but the company's development is confidential, so I just say a few perfunctory words and let it go. But they know that you and I opened this company together. They praise you every day for being so capable and young. They want to have dinner with you many times, but I was afraid of disturbing you during the exam, so I turned them down for you. Lin Zhengren thought about it. The Jiang family and his family must be old friends under the interaction of the older generation. Moreover, Jiang Jin and Jiang Jingxi, the future successors of the Jiang family, must be very familiar with him. There is no reason not to meet. When I have time, I will take the initiative to meet my uncle and aunt and pay them a visit. Jiang Jingxi did not expect Lin Zhengren to take the initiative to say this. And she was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. Brother Zhengren wants to come to my house? Okay, then see when you are free, and I will help prepare by then, and I will talk to my parents. Okay, thank you, Sister Jiang. As soon as she finished speaking, her cell phone rang. It was another call from the Jiang group. Jiang Jingxi said, I'll take a call. Then she stood up with her cell phone and walked to the French window, and chatted with the Jiang group for a while. Lin Zhengren looked at the documents and remembered what Pan Lin had just said in the elevator. It seems that Jiang Jingxi has been very busy recently. Especially although Jiang Jingxi looked very energetic today, he could actually find that she was a little tired recently, and her current energy was only temporary. After reading the documents at noon, Pan Lin came to ask before lunch, Mr. Jiang, should I ask the kitchen to make lunch or? Jiang Jingxi looked at Lin Zhengren. Shall I make lunch for you? No need, Sister Jiang. Cooking is also tiring, and we have been reading documents for the whole morning. Let the kitchen do it. Jiang Jingxi smiled gently. It doesn't matter. What's tiring about cooking for you? Let's put it this way, she replied to Pan Lin. Clean up the private kitchen for me, and I will cook for Mr. Lin. Okay. I'll go now. Chapter 218 and beyond. After Pan Lin left the office, Jiang Jingxi smiled at Lin Zhengren. She took him to the private kitchen specially set up by the company. It was actually the first time for Lin Zhengren to come to the private kitchen of the head office. It was on the 3rd floor of the 3-story building behind the big office. The first 2 floors were places for employees to cook and eat, but the company did not have dormitories yet. That is, there were separate bedrooms with beds in the general manager's office and the deputy general manager's office. The private small kitchen on the 3rd floor of the kitchen was not large, but it was very exquisite. After Lin Zhengren entered and saw the shiny kitchen utensils, and the cabinets with various collections of wine, tableware and tables, he suddenly sighed. Sister Jiang really has her own kitchen everywhere. Jiang Jingxi took off her woman's suit jacket and hung it on the wall, leaving only the close-fitting white fluffy shirt inside. The wide and delicate neck was particularly exquisite. Jiang Jingxi had a very beautiful figure. From her legs to her upper body, there seemed to be nothing special to attract attention. But her whole body was very coordinated, contrasting with a very classical arc curve. It's a hobby after all. So what is Brother Zhengren's hobby? I still don't know. Reading, huh? She was slightly startled. Lin Zhengren repeated, I said reading. Jiang Jingxi laughed. This hobby is a bit special. It seems to be common, but it's also quite rare. No wonder Brother Zhengren is so good at everything he does. In his previous life, Lin Zhengren actually liked to read all kinds of books, novels, unofficial history, encyclopedias, and some things that were not pornographic books but were better than pornographic books. He didn't want to read regular books, but he was always fascinated by all kinds of books, but he couldn't remember them after reading too much. So since he had a system in this life, reading books was regarded as cultivation, so Lin Zhengren would read books all day long. First, he could cultivate, and second, he was really interested. Jiang Jingxi just wanted to cook. The phone rang again, and she became a little irritated when she heard the ringing of the phone. On weekdays, she would not feel annoyed when the Jiang group called, and it was okay to be tired. But today was a special situation, and she didn't want to waste this precious time on work. Especially those tasks that are troublesome and not handled together with Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren, why don't you answer? Jiang Jingxi stared at the phone and glanced at him. Sorry, Brother Zhengren, wait a moment. She went to the side and picked up the phone, and talk to the other party about some solutions. After chatting for a while this time, Zhang Jingshi added, I have important things to do today. Unless it is very urgent, don't call me first. You should deal with the client's matters first. Hang up. After hanging up, she came back, tied an apron and started cooking again. Lin's Hengren was sitting on the side. There was a stool in the room. He asked, is Jiang's group always so busy? Well, I'm in charge of publicity after all. The group has always needed me to attract some investment or expand some customers. Most customers are actually very easy to talk to. They are just companies from outside the province. Many times they can't do anything with these customers and can only call me. Zhang Jingshi let out a long sigh when she said this. To be honest, the performance trend of Jiang's group has actually been slowly declining in recent years. After the rise of the internet, the old products operated by the company are actually not very popular in the market. It's just that the company is large in size, and I have attracted a lot of new projects in the past few years, so it can't be seen, she continued. Of course, this is not a secret. The rise of the internet has killed too many old industries, especially retail investors, who are almost making no money now. Lin's Hengren. So now that Sister Jiang's focus has shifted here, the downward trend over there has become more and more obvious, so there are more and more things to do in order to increase performance. In this way, I inexplicably feel like I poached Sister Zhang. Zhang Jingshi was stunned when she heard this, and turned around and smiled. Didn't I poach you? I wanted to cooperate with you at the beginning, how come you poached me? Lin's Hengren didn't say anything else, the two just looked at each other. Until Lin's Hengren smelled the smell and reminded, don't burn the pot. Zhang Jingshi hurriedly turned the ingredients over, feeling a little embarrassed. It's not just that she was embarrassed and almost burned the pot, but Lin's Hengren was right, especially in the eyes of her parents. It was indeed Lin's Hengren who poached her, because the general manager of this new company was Lin's Hengren, not herself. But she remembered the incident when she was a child. Maybe it was really a personality problem. As a woman, no matter how powerful she was, she still wanted to follow the boy she liked, instead of letting him follow her. Lin's Hengren looked at Zhang Jingshi's back and suddenly said, Sister Zhang, did we meet when we were young? Zhang Jingshi's pupils suddenly widened at this moment, and her cheeks were flushed. Her hand holding the spatula was sluggish for a moment, and then she continued to stir-fry slowly. Without turning around, she just said gently, why do you say that? Did you remember something? Lin's Hengren thought of the countless beautiful girls he met when he was a child. There were too many girls, and girls were very different from when they grew up. It was really hard to tell apart many girls who he had only met once. It's just a feeling. The main thing is that I always felt that you were very nice to me from the beginning. Although you said that you admired me and that I was Zhang Jin's classmate, so you were so nice to me, but I did have this feeling. Maybe we have met before. Zhang Jingshi raised the corner of her mouth and said in a very low voice, are you saying that I am too nice to you? Maybe you won't believe it, but my sister is already very reserved in front of you. She said the last 4 words in a very low voice, and ordinary people couldn't hear it clearly. Zhang Jingshi's voice became louder, trying to skip this topic. She didn't want to emphasize the first encounter at the beginning. If he really had the chance to be with Lin's Hengren, he hoped that the other party simply liked him now, so that the encounter when they were young could be truly called fate. Otherwise, it could only be called a coincidence, a fate without destiny. Whether we have met before or not, I am actually more curious about the future, and the future is the most important. After lunch, Lin's Hengren sat at the table in the private restaurant. He was impressed by her exquisite cooking, and the presentation of the food alone was specially studied. Zhang Jingshi stood in front of the wine cabinet and asked, do you still want to drink? Well, I won't drink. She opened the cabinet door and took out a bottle of drink. Lin's Hengren looked at her and saw that her steps were weak, so he quickly got up to help her. Be careful. Zhang Jingshi leaned slightly into Lin's Hengren's arms. Her head calmed down, her cheeks were hot. She held his arm and slowly stood up. It's okay. Just now my head suddenly felt heavy. I don't know what happened. Why did she always fall into his arms inexplicably? It was as if she did it on purpose. But Lin's Hengren supported her. Sit down and rest for a while. I'll take a look at you. Well, no need. Maybe you just didn't get enough rest recently. Anyway, just check your pulse. Nothing serious. Lin's Hengren sat at the dining table with her and held Zhang Jingshi's wrist. Zhang Jingshi blushed and asked, are you okay? Every time I think of you being able to treat illnesses, I feel so amazing, so versatile. Lin Zhengren did not answer, but slowly raised his head and stared at Jiang Jingshi after noticing something, frowning slightly. This time, unlike the last time, Lin Zhengren's mastery of everything has reached the second level. Sister Jiang, is there a history of genetic diseases in your family? About cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases, Jiang Jingshi slightly widened her eyes. What? Chapter 219 Hug me more. Jiang Jingshi shook her head slowly. No. Lin Zhengren continued to ask, our uncle and aunt healthy in this regard? Well, but mom was hospitalized for cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease a long time ago. Lin Zhengren took his hand back. I'll go to the hospital with you. Pan Lin sat in the co-pilot, and the driver took Lin Zhengren and Jiang Jingshi to the high-end private hospital invested by the Jiang family. Pan Lin actually didn't quite understand why the two CEOs suddenly wanted to come to the hospital while eating. But she inexplicably had a bad premonition. The hospital gave Jiang Jingshi a detailed examination and finally confirmed that it was true. Jiang Jingshi suffered from an uncommon hereditary cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease, which the hospital called Jixin disease. Sitting in the examination room, Jiang Jingshi looked at the film and said, "What disease is this? I have never heard of it before." The doctor frowned and said, "It is a very rare cardiovascular disease. The name is not important, but there are very few cases and it is difficult to handle. In the early stage of the disease, the patient may suffer from hemisensory disorders, unsteady steps, hemianopsia and other symptoms. If the disease is serious, it may cause urinary incontinence and hemiplegia. However, Mr. Jiang's current symptoms are only in the early and middle stages. If he is treated in time, it should not be so serious." Pan Lin, who was standing behind, covered her mouth in horror. The doctor typed on the computer, "However, there is no treatment for this disease in China for the time being. I will immediately ask someone to get the medicine from abroad." Should. Jiang Jingshi heard the key point, and her beautiful pupils trembled. The doctor said, "Because there are not many cases of treatment for this disease, I really can't guarantee you anything, but I had a checkup 2 years ago, and didn't you say I was in good health then, doctor? This is a recessive genetic disease. Many times it can only be detected in adulthood. Even the most advanced equipment cannot detect it in young children. And looking at your medical records, you should have symptoms of sensory impairment from time to time recently." Jiang Jingshi has indeed been like this from time to time recently. She always thought it was because she was tired, and she wanted to come to the hospital for a checkup some time ago, but she thought she was lovesick like her sister, so she didn't care about it anymore. She suddenly thought of something and said hurriedly, "If this is a genetic disease, my sister also has this disease." The doctor looked at Jiang Jingshi. "It's hard to say. Recessive inheritance is not necessarily 100% passed on to the next generation. The probability of this disease being inherited is not high according to previous conclusions. When the second young lady came for a checkup some time ago, she was also very healthy. We didn't see any other symptoms. In addition, your father and mother are still in good health. Your father did have a record of hospitalization in the past, but it was just an ordinary disease. So your disease should be inherited from the previous generation." Jiang Jingshi was relieved to hear that her sister was fine, but at the same time, she was a little unsteady because of panic. Pan Lin wanted to help her, but Lin Zhengren had already supported her in advance. Jiang Jingshi glanced at Lin Zhengren. Although she didn't say anything too scary, Lin Zhengren could feel that Jiang Jingshi's slender fingers were shaking a little. I asked the doctor again, "Is there any case of recovery from this disease?" The doctor did not answer immediately, but thought for a while and said, "At least it has been proven that the medicine can relieve the symptoms, and the subsequent development of the disease is also based on, so there is no, right, this. I can't be sure that it can't be cured. After all, there must be a precedent for the recovery of any disease." After the doctor finished speaking, he looked at Jiang Jingshi's eyes staring at him and changed his words. "In short, before the medicine comes, I suggest that you apply for hospitalization during this period. After taking the medicine for a week, we will conduct corresponding examinations to see how the condition changes." He paused and said, "The data shows that once the disease occurs frequently, if it is not treated with medicine in time, it may become very serious, and the reaction time is very short. It may even change from the early and middle stages to the late stages in 1 to 3 months. Jiang Jingshi's hands on her legs slowly clenched, wrinkling her clothes. Leaving the hospital building, Pan Lin asked worriedly with red eyes, "Mr. Jiang, In the parking area of the hospital, the driver saw several people leaving, and was a little confused, but from a distance, he felt that the atmosphere was very depressing. Jiang Jingshi said to Pan Lin, "Don't tell anyone yet, let me think about it." Pan Lin nodded. Jiang Jingshi suddenly looked at Lin Zhengren. "Brother Zhengren, can you stay with me in the car for a while?" In the Rolls-Royce in the parking lot, Pan Lin and the driver stood far away. Lin Zhengren and Jiang Jingshi sat in the back seat. There were patients wearing hospital gowns and walking with their families on the hospital street. In the car, Jiang Jingshi, who was very energetic in the morning, looked a little depressed at the moment. "My luck is really bad. I can even get this disease." Lin Zhengren didn't say anything. He was not sad, but thinking about something. The second level of mastery of everything can do the experience of a slightly gifted person of about 40 years, although most things can be done with ease. But facing this kind of genetic disease, I am afraid it can't be handled. But what if, break through one more level? What will the effect of the third level of mastery of everything be? When the charm value of the Zeuxin system changes to mastery of everything, there are some sayings about refining the body and refining elixirs. In the real world, many diseases cannot be cured due to the limitation of technology. But if elixirs, which are completely in Zeuxin and can change the body, can be made, I am afraid they will have miraculous effects. Just as Lin Zhengren was thinking, he suddenly felt a touch of warmth on his shoulder, and a unique fragrance that belonged to someone entered his nose. Jiang Jingshi clenched her fists nervously and slowly leaned on Lin Zhengren's shoulder. She leaned on the man's shoulder very gently. From Lin Zhengren's perspective, he could see Jiang Jingshi's delicate profile and long trembling eyelashes. Jiang Jingshi's face was filled with despair and obvious shyness. "Can I lean on you for a while? I'm a little scared now. Maybe I can calm down after a while." Jiang Jingshi had tears in her eyes, and she held Lin Zhengren's arm tightly with both hands. She pursed her trembling red lips. She was unwilling to give up, because she knew that there were still too many things she wanted to do that she hadn't done. She hadn't seen enough of the people she missed, and the life she longed for hadn't been realized. She couldn't accept being told so suddenly that she might never get out of bed again. Jiang Jingshi buried her face slowly in Lin Zhengren's arm. Lin Zhengren stretched out his hand, but his fingers just touched her arm. Jiang Jingshi immediately took the opportunity to hug Lin Zhengren. In his arms, a cry of grievance and fear came, soaking the clothes in front of Lin Zhengren. "I'm so unwilling and scared." Lin Zhengren knew that she would not listen to anything he said at this time. She would only think it was comfort. At least he had to wait until she calmed down. So he slowly hugged Jiang Jingshi. Jiang Jingshi had a hint of joy in her sadness. She grabbed Lin Zhengren's clothes on the back tighter with both hands. She no longer used the previous name, but kept calling someone's name with a pleasant and trembling voice, and said to him, Lin Zhengren, hug me more." Chapter 220 Believe. Jiang Jingshi's voice became more and more trembling with fear for the future. She gradually calmed down until she felt Lin Zhengren's tight embrace and his hand touching her head. Pan Lin, who was far away from the car, looked back. Although she couldn't see what was happening in the car and couldn't hear the sound inside the car, she knew that President Jiang must be extremely helpless at this moment. The driver asked in a low voice, "Sister Pan, what happened?" Pan Lin shook her head. "Don't ask. If anyone asks about President Jiang's whereabouts recently, especially the second lady and the old chairman, don't tell them that you came to the hospital today, okay?" Well, of course, the driver knew that something big had happened, because even Pan Lin's eyes were wet and red. In the back seat of the car, I don't know how long it had been. Jiang Jingshi was shaking with tears and had no strength in her body. A lot of her soft, slightly curly long hair was scattered on Lin Zhengren's clothes. She said in a very gentle voice, "This is the first time you've hugged me so seriously. The previous times were all coincidences. This is the first time," Lin Zhengren said in a steady tone. "Sister Jiang, have you calmed down?" Jiang Jingshi's face was still buried in his chest. She didn't look up, and her specific expression could not be seen. "How can I calm down? According to the doctor, I won't be able to get out of bed soon. This morning I thought this was the happiest day of my 2 months because you would come. I didn't expect this to happen." As she spoke, Jiang Jingshi suddenly burst into laughter with grievance. "But I'm really sick. I'm actually a little happy at this time. I never thought that you would really hug me one day. Although you comforted me because of the illness, but," her fingers grabbed the clothes on Lin Zhengren's back tightly, But I'm also very satisfied." Lin Zhengren let out a long breath and comforted the other's still slightly trembling body. "Sister Zheng, if you're calmed down, can you listen to me for a few words?" Zhang Jingshi only replied, "Well, go ahead. In fact, your illness may not be incurable. Give me some time. At the fastest a week and at the slowest a month, I can find a way to make you recover to the way you were before." Zhang Jingshi was not shocked, nor did she refute, and she didn't even speak. She just sniffed and continued to snuggle on Lin Zhengren's chest. Seeing that she didn't speak, Lin Zhengren asked again, "Sister Zhang? Did you hear what I said?" Zhang Jingshi's voice was hoarse from crying, and the clothes on Lin Zhengren's chest had long been soaked by tears. "I heard it, but do you think that sister is easy to deceive? I'm not a 3-year-old girl. This hospital is a hospital where many domestic and foreign experts are integrated. If even they can't do it, no one can." Lin Zhengren was a little speechless. Zhang Jingshi continued to whisper, "Sister believes in you unconditionally, but I can't really be stupid." Lin Zhengren's forehead was sweating for no reason. It was indeed a bit ridiculous to say such things after the doctor said there was no way. But his words were not a comfort, nor did he need one. Lin Zhengren lowered his head. "Look up at me first." Zhang Jingshi waited for a while after hearing this before slowly looking up. Her peach blossom eyes were a little wet, red and swollen from crying. The tear marks on her cheeks were still clearly visible. Although she was the eldest daughter of the Zhang group, she rarely showed her vulnerability to others on weekdays, but in front of the boy she liked. In his arms, Zhang Jingshi showed almost all her inner vulnerability. Lin Zhengren wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes with his hands, and felt that Zhang Jingshi was indeed impeccable in appearance, even if she cried like this. His fingers slid across Zhang Jingshi's eyes, making Zhang Jingshi a little shy, her eyelashes trembling, and her eyes slightly moved away from Lin Zhengren's eyes. Not looking at him. Lin Zhengren smiled. "When Sister Zhang first met me at the taekwondo competition hall, didn't she also think that the people I led couldn't win?" Zhang Jingshi said weakly. "Why are you saying this now?" "What I mean is, I didn't lie to you. Although it doesn't sound logical or credible, and even professional doctors have said that there is no precedent for recovery, but in the past 2 years of knowing each other, I think I have never lied to Sister Zhang, right? I should have done what I said." Zhang Jingshi frowned and looked at Lin Zhengren again in confusion. Looking at his pupils. In her eyes, Lin Zhengren has always been very mature, and there is a sense of reliability in him that transcends his age. He is obviously a few years younger than her and obviously should not have much experience, but he gives people a sense of ease whether he speaks or does things on weekdays. And indeed, after knowing each other for such a long time, Lin Zhengren has never said anything that he didn't fulfill. "Are you serious?" "But the doctors in this hospital, I know that I have never doubted the strength of the Zhang family or Sister Zhang, so I believe that the level of this hospital must be world-class, but sometimes I may be able to solve things that others can't, provided that you believe me." Lin Zhengren continued, "For diseases like this, the mentality sometimes affects the state. At least if you believe me, I can feel at ease to find a cure." Zhang Jingshi didn't know what to say. Reason told her that what Lin Zhengren said was completely unreliable. After all, the other party did not look like someone who could solve such a rare and terminal illness, regardless of his age or background. But looking at his eyes that didn't seem to be joking, Zhang Jingshi's sensibility, which was rarely driven on weekdays, gave her a glimmer of hope, and Lin Zhengren repeated this sentence twice. Lin Zhengren continued, "1 week at the fastest, 1 month at the slowest, give me some time. If Sister Zhang is scared during this month, you can wait in the hospital. You can take the medicine given by the hospital as long as the side effects are not serious." After a month, before he finished speaking, Zhang Jingshi suddenly covered Lin Zhengren's lips with her hands. Sister doesn't know what you are talking about. You brought me to the hospital and found out that I had an incurable terminal illness, and now you say it can be cured?" She slowly lowered her head, and her pupils flickered in the reaction of tears. "I understand why many people say that women are stupid. It's obviously impossible, but I am willing to believe you. It seems that I don't have much brains. I'm just a stupid woman." Lin Zhengren retorted, "You can't say that. Whether you believe it or not depends on the person. Some people do talk big, but there are also people who really have ways. Of course. Whatever I say now is empty talk. I won't know the details until the time comes." Zhang Jingshi stared at Lin Zhengren with a subtle expression, and burst into laughter for no reason. "Can it really be cured?" Yes, it's true. Then what do you need? How much money do you need? Lin Zhengren explained, I don't need those things, I just need time. As long as Sister Jiang believes in me, adjusts her mood during this period, and doesn't collapse because of sadness. Jiang Jingshi unexpectedly remembered that when she was a child, she got lost in the community and was let out of trouble by him. Now if she is saved by him because of a terminal illness, who else can she follow in this life if not her? He even gave her life. Sister believes in you, I listen to you. The two looked at each other. Jiang Jingshi's eyes trembled and her heartbeat accelerated. Her hands slowly supported Lin Zhengren's shoulders on his chest, her upper body straightened, and her fragrant red lips leaned forward little by little. It seemed that she was waiting for Lin Zhengren's reaction. Until she felt Lin Zhengren's hand slowly hugging her waist, she kissed him happily. Chapter 221 Secret Love. Lin Zhengren has known Jiang Jingshi for nearly 3 years. In fact, Jiang Jingshi's efforts in the past 3 years have been almost silent and unnoticed. For example, every time before Lin Zhengren came to the company, she would personally make him hot tea, wipe the table, and have some documents sorted out in advance. Make it simpler and try not to make him too tired. Even if she is busy at work, she will take time to dress up carefully. Not to mention that most of the time she would cook for Lin Zhengren alone in the company, and the ingredients would be prepared in advance the day before. Although Lin Zhengren didn't say it, he did notice it after a long time. She also said to him several times, Sister Jiang is really too good to me. Jiang Jingshi always answered, how can it be that good? But even the shy and quiet little He Qing would say every time she poured water for herself, Lin Zhengren, I poured you some water, drink it if you are thirsty. Lily would also pour water to Lin Zhengren arrogantly, I poured you some water, drink it quickly, idiot. But Jiang Jingshi never did this. She would do these little things for Lin Zhengren without knowing when. If she saw that he had finished half of the water, she would pour more water, observe the weather changes today and set the air conditioner to a suitable temperature. Or find the next file for him to deal with in advance. If she didn't care, people would even think that these little things were done by others. Maybe even Jiang Jingshi herself didn't think of letting Lin Zhengren notice such little things. She just wanted to be good to the people she cared about. To put it simply, although Jiang Jingshi is well informed and even a master of the Jiang Group's diplomatic management, she has full communication skills, but she doesn't know how to capture the heart of a man she cares about. She can only do some inconspicuous things quietly and carefully. It's a bit like a girl who secretly loves a senior in school, and silently pays for it. Maybe until graduation, the senior doesn't know that there is such a junior who misses him every day. That is to say, inviting Lin Zhengren to start a company together was her most proactive one. In addition, today, when the disease came, she really couldn't suppress her inner emotions, so she took the initiative to hold Lin Zhengren's arm. And Lin Zhengren had to admit that the unconditional trust at the beginning, plus the 3 years of getting along, did move him a little. Han Wenwen knows this best. If you want to get the love of Brother Zhengren, the most important thing is to accompany him wholeheartedly, have no second thoughts about Brother Zhengren, and absolutely believe in him. Other external factors, such as the beautiful figure of the girl, Brother Zhengren is too outstanding. He has seen too many girls like this, so he can say that he will not be moved at all. And it is useless to pretend to be devoted. After all, Brother Zhengren is surrounded by girls who are truly devoted to him. In this case, those who are insincere can often be distinguished at a glance. At this moment, Jiang Jingshi's cheeks were flushed and her red lips gently touched Lin Zhengren's lips. I don't know what emotion it was because of. Maybe she felt that she finally got the person she wanted, or maybe this boy rekindled her hope of life. A line of tears of joy slid down her cheeks from the corners of her eyes. Just when Jiang Jingshi wanted to hug Lin Zhengren, opened her mouth slightly, and wanted to quietly enjoy this wonderful moment when her beloved man responded to her. 2 different mobile phone ringtones rang at the same time, breaking this atmosphere. After a brief silence, Lin Zhengren and Jiang Jingshi looked at each other and took out their mobile phones from their pockets. The former was called by Lily, and the latter was Jiang Jingshi's sister Jiang Jin. Jiang Jingshi blushed and glanced at Lin Zhengren. She was gentle and considerate, and she muted her phone. You answer first. Sister won't talk yet. I'll answer later. Lin Zhengren didn't refuse and picked up Jiang Zuli's call. Hello, Lily. Jiang Zuli was still in the hotel room with Han Wenwen and Xiao He Qing. The 3 of them went shopping together in the morning and played poker on the bed in the hotel in the afternoon, enjoying the high school after liberation. Of course, after the call was connected, Zhang Zuli turned on the hands-free mode, and the three of them were listening to the content of the phone call. Zhang Zuli said playfully, "Zhangren, are you still busy?" Lin Zhangren saw Zhang Jingshi staring at his clothes soaked with tears, and her jade hand gently touched the wet top. His eyes were full of apologies. Lin Zhangren, "Yeah, but I'm almost done," Xiao Heqing said on the phone. "Lin Zhangren, are you coming over tonight? If you come, the three of us will wait for you to have dinner together." Lin Zhangren thought for a moment. "You don't have to wait for me for dinner, but I should go over again today, so I'll go over in the evening." Xiao Heqing, "You're not coming back for dinner?" She nodded slowly. "Okay, then what time will you come?" Han Wenwen said on the other end. "Can classmate Lin Zhangren tell us what time you can come?" Lin Zhangren checked the time and it was already past 4 o'clock. "It would take a while to go back, around 6 or 7 o'clock. I will definitely send you a message before I go back. You three should go have dinner first, and I will go back as soon as I'm done," the three of them responded. After chatting for a few more words, the phone was hung up. The three children were holding some playing cards in their hands at this moment, and the middle of the bed was full of playing cards, and the hung-up mobile phone was placed on the playing cards. Zhang Zuli said proudly, "He looks really busy, so why don't we wait for Zhangren?" Little He Qing said, "Since Lin Zhangren said so, let's not wait for him. Let's go downstairs to eat first." Han Wenwen didn't say anything, but stared at the phone on the bed. Little He Qing has been paying attention to Han Wenwen recently. "Wenwen, why don't you say anything? What are you thinking about?" Han Wenwen replied in a daze, "It's okay, I just think Lin Zhangren is so quiet." Zhang Zuli didn't understand. "What do you mean by quiet? Isn't it normal? He must have found a quiet place to answer the phone." Han Wenwen thought so too. Normal people would do the same. "I should have thought too much, always thinking that brother Zhangren would have peach blossoms wherever he went." He laughed and said, "I was just talking casually, then let's play landlord again and go downstairs to eat." The three little ones continued to play cards. On the other side, in the back seat of the Rolls-Royce, Zhang Jingshi saw Lin Zhangren and said, "Your clothes are all soaked by my crying. I'll buy you a new one later." Lin Zhangren checked his shirt and said, "It's just a little bit. It's okay. I washed this shirt today." Zhang Jingshi smiled and said, "Then I'll answer the phone too. It's my sister calling." "Yeah." Zhang Jingshi also answered the phone. Zhang Jin had called twice. The cold voice seemed very serious. "Sister, what are you doing? Why don't you answer my call?" Zhang Jingshi sat in the back seat elegantly. After Lin Zhangren's comfort and promise, she was no longer so scared at this moment. Her tone recovered a lot, but it was because of crying for a long time that her voice was slightly hoarse. At work, how can Kyankian have time to call her sister? "This is rare," Zhang Jin replied. "Grandpa and Dad and Mom are here today. You should come back tonight. They said they want to discuss the group's affairs." Zhang Jingshi thought that this was her father's plan to let Kyankian start to accept the group's work, right? "Okay, I'll go back after I'm done." Zhang Jin asked coldly, "Why does your voice sound strange? It sounds like you've been crying." Zhang Jingshi blushed, but tried to act like usual. "What is Kyankian thinking about? Why would my sister cry? Only Kyankian would cry when she was a child. I just have a cold. Okay, let's talk about it when we get home. I'm hanging up." Zhang Jin didn't think much about it. She hummed and replied, "I've never cried before," and then hung up the phone. "Thank you for the 42,000 starting coins rewarded by 2017073002571193 inches. Thank you for the 5,000 starting coins rewarded by Duan Mubushin. Thank you for the 100 starting coins rewarded by Warm Wine Drunk People. Thank you to the above three bosses, bow and thank you. I caught a cold recently, so I'm writing a little slowly, but it would be unreasonable not to add more chapters after receiving these rewards. Then I'll add a few more chapters in the next few days. I wish all readers a happy new year." Chapter 222 The Person I Want to Meet Most. Lin Zhangren saw her put down her phone and asked, "Is there something going on at home tonight?" Zhang Jingshi did not hide anything from him. Kyankian said that her father, mother and grandfather are all at home. I guess they want to talk about Kyankian joining the Zhang group. After saying that, she looked at Lin Zhangren. She vaguely heard some of what Lin Zhangren said on the phone just now. It should be Lily and the little sister named He Qing who called Lin Zhangren. "It's time for me to go back, so just do as I said." I will find a way to cure Jixun's disease within a month at the latest. I will call you to tell you about the progress after a week, whether I can find it or not. Zhang Jingshi realized something when she heard this. You won't come to the company this week. Hasn't everything about the company been dealt with today? There's no need to deal with the remaining small matters now. Your health is the most important. Let Sister Panlin report to me about the important matters of Zhangxi Company recently. You can rest assured and adjust your mentality and don't be afraid, Lin Zhengren thought. As for the matters of Zhang Group, I suggest you turn them all down. As I said, nothing is more important than health. Zhang Jingshi stared at Lin Zhengren with her gentle peach blossom eyes. Sure enough, the power of belief is very scary. As long as she had the idea of believing in this man, even if the doctor clearly said that the disease could not be cured, she was not so panicked all of a sudden. Okay, sister, I'll listen to you. Then, she hesitated. Shall I ask the driver to take you home? No, I'll just take a taxi back. Otherwise, you'll have to take a long detour and waste your rest time. Lin Zhengren thought about studying the so-called immortality elixir. He didn't know if the experience of reading those medical books was enough to break through to the next level. However, it's possible that he could think of other methods while reading the books. The proficiency generated by the second-level mastery of everything can already rival many talented experts, and it is possible to develop new treatment methods. Lin Zhengren opened the car door. Sister Pan Lin, who was standing with the driver in the distance, heard the voice and hurried over. Seeing Zhang Jingshi's red eyes from crying, he wiped the red corners of his eyes with empathy. Boss Lin, you say? Lin Zhengren knew that Pan Lin was the most loyal person to Zhang Jingshi in the company. This can be seen from many details in the past 3 years. This is also the reason why Zhang Jingshi often takes her with her. During this period of time, if there are no urgent matters in the company, put them aside first. If they are too urgent, call me directly to report, so that Sister Zhang can settle down and rest more. Okay, no problem, Boss Lin. Lin Zhengren. Also, I should send you a batch of book information tonight. You can buy them and send them to me tomorrow. I need to read them recently. Pan Lin didn't know what Lin Zhengren meant. What kind of books would he want to read at this time? But she still nodded. When you send me the list, I will immediately find someone to buy it for you. Lin Zhengren got out of the car and looked back at Zhang Jingshi. Call me anytime if you need anything else. Zhang Jingshi nodded and saw that he was about to leave. Okay, you are leaving now. Go slowly on the way. Her slender jade hand slightly clenched into a fist on the seat, reluctant to leave. Lin Zhengren smiled. I know, I'm leaving, turning around and leaving, thinking about which books he should read. Zhang Jingshi and Pan Lin looked at Lin Zhengren's gradually leaving back. Sitting in the back seat, Zhang Jingshi's peach blossom eyes were full of affection, and her lips still had the light touch of the moment they touched just now. She couldn't tell her specific mood now, but she clearly understood that if she really couldn't get out of bed for the rest of her life, or ended her life because of this incident, then in these most precious and healthy months, the person she most wanted to accompany her was Lin Zhengren. Zhang Jingshi had a faint smile on her lips. She felt that she didn't know when she liked him so much. She had always thought that if she was at the end of her life, the person she wanted to see most should be Qianqian, but she didn't expect that she was obsessed with him to this extent. But did I get what I wanted just now? Can I be considered as woman? Boss Zhang. Zhang Jingshi's thoughts were interrupted by Pan Lin. She turned her head to look at Pan Lin, and saw Pan Lin's tear glands bursting, sniffling and wiping tears. Her voice was full of tears. What should we do about this? This scared Zhang Jingshi, and she smiled weakly. Why are you crying? It's nothing, it's nothing. You are so young but you have this disease. The second lady and the old chairman, she really felt sorry for Zhang Jingshi, and her voice was intermittent. Zhang Jingshi had no choice but to comfort her. Don't worry about these things. Looking at the figure that had long gone in the distance, I believe him, just like when she saw him for the first time when she was lost in the community when she was a child. She was not familiar with him, but she just felt that he could take her out of trouble. This must be love at first sight. After Zhang Jingshi finished speaking, she heard Pan Lin still crying, sobbing, and interrupted with a smile. Okay. Still crying. I'm fine now. I've recovered, but you're making me cry and I'm scared. Let the driver drive home. Pan Lin felt that Zhang Jingshi was really amazing. She could still be so calm when she heard that she had this disease. She wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and nodded heavily. Okay, I'll go call the driver now. Lin's Hengren left the hospital by car and went to the hotel where the three little ones were. At this time, the three little ones had finished their meal. The three of them still had to sleep here together tonight. They knocked on the door outside. The three little ones who were sitting on the bed and watching the same mobile phone all sat up straight when they heard the voice, in unison. Little He Qing whispered, "Lin's Hengren." Zhang Zuli also asked quickly, "Is it Hengren?" Han Wenwen, classmate Lin's Hengren. Lin's Hengren said outside the door, "It's me, open the door." The three were surprised. After entering the room and sitting on the bed together, Lin's Hengren briefly described what he was going to do in the next 2 days. "I may be very busy these days and need to read a lot of information. I can't accompany you three for the time being. As for the travel, if we are lucky, we can go as usual next week, but if we are unlucky, it may be delayed for a while. But I will call you whether I go next week or not." Although the three little ones didn't know what happened, they felt that Lin's Hengren was quite serious. It was as if something big had happened. They looked at each other, and no one asked why they couldn't go on a trip, but they all nodded. In unison. "Okay, you have the final say, we all listen to you, Zio He Qing. Anyway, traveling is just for fun, it's important to get down to business first. Zhang Zuli, just follow your plan, we are your girlfriends, so we will naturally follow your ideas." Lin's Hengren sighed that these three guys were so obedient at this time. He reached out and touched Lily and Zio He Qing's heads, but didn't touch Wenwen's head, but looked at her. Han Wenwen had a smile on her lips. "Lin's Hengren, that's it, the three of you continue to play here, I'm going home first." Little He Qing called out, "Lin's Hengren, wait a minute, have you eaten?" Lin's Hengren turned around. "No." Zhang Zuli heard and quickly took out a box of packaged pickled fish from the side, and said playfully, "The three of us packed it for you while we were having dinner. When I called, I felt that you seemed to be very busy, so I thought that if you ate it, I wouldn't give it to you. If you didn't eat it, I would fill your stomach. In addition to the vegetables, there is also a large box of rice." Lin's Hengren took the box of dinner with a smile. "Thanks, then I'm leaving." The three waved their hands, slowed down on the way. They watched Lin's Hengren leave again at the door. The three children looked at each other. Little He Qing, it seems that the company is very busy. Zhang Zuli blinked and looked at his figure going downstairs. "I hope Hengren can get through this busy period as soon as possible." Chapter 223 Gift. At this time, Zio He Qing suddenly remembered something, and hurriedly turned back to find the big box of sticky rice dumplings specially prepared for Lin's Hengren in the suitcase. "Lin's Hengren, wait a minute, I promised to give you something before." Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen watched Zio He Qing anxiously looking for something in the suitcase, and then ran out with a big box. Lily was at a loss. "What is that?" Han Wenwen remembered the small box that Zio He Qing took out from the dining table when they had dinner last night. "It seems to be a box for sticky rice dumplings, right? It was a similar box when we had dinner yesterday, but this box is much bigger than yesterday's. It seems that she brought it specially for Hengren." Zhang Zuli agreed. On the first floor of the hotel, Lin's Hengren had already walked down the steps outside the hotel, and Zio He Qing chased him out. Holding the big box in her little arms, Lin's Hengren. "Wait a minute, I said I would bring you the sticky rice dumplings before, take them home and eat them." Lin's Hengren looked back at the girl who came down the steps and walked to his side, and handed him the box with both hands. Little He Qing explained, "The sticky bean curd in here is the best quality I picked at home. You are so busy and you don't know when you will have time to come back, so take it home and eat it as a snack." Lin's Hengren stared at the things in his hand. The box was not small, because He Qing had to hold it. "So many." Little He Qing grinned with a hint of shyness on her face. "I was afraid you wouldn't have enough to eat." Lin's Hengren took the box. "Actually, I was planning to play with you all day today, but I didn't have time when I encountered this kind of thing. I can only accompany you when I travel." Little He Qing waved her hand sympathetically. "It's okay, it's okay, you can play any time. I believe Lily and Wenwen think so too. As for accompanying, anyway, as long as you want to see me, just give me a call. No matter what I am doing, I will definitely rush to find you. I will be there in 5 minutes." Lin's Hengren was amused by her. Little He Qing carefully put her hands together in front of her. "Although I don't know what you are busy with, I hope you don't make yourself too tired. If there's anything I can help you with, just tell me. I have learned a lot of things now, and I am not the same as before." Lin's Hengren smiled. "Put the things in his hands aside for the time being. Stretch out your hand." Little He Qing didn't understand what he was going to do, but remembered some videos he had seen online recently. Bend down and put your face in his palm and let him hold it. Blinking your innocent almond eyes cutely. Lin's Hangren was puzzled and reminded, why put your face in my hand? Stretch out your hand. Oh. Okay, He Qing had to stand up again and tentatively hold his outstretched hand. Lin's Hangren pulled He Qing into his arms. The sudden warmth made little He Qing flattered and her cheeks flushed. But what He Qing didn't know was that in a window on the second floor of the hotel, Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli were staring blankly at the two people hugging downstairs. Each of them had their own jealousy. Little He Qing was timidly confused. What's wrong, Lin's Hangren? Lin's Hangren said calmly, it's okay, didn't I accompany Lily to go shopping alone for a day last night, and I also did that kind of thing with Wenwen. Yeah, he continued. But I didn't accompany you alone, and I can't accompany you in the next few days, so I'm hugging you for a while to make up for it. Little He Qing buried her face in Lin's Hangren's arms shyly. Is that so? She also hugged Lin's Hangren with her hands, feeling that his arms were so warm. Lin's Hangren said, your birthday is coming soon, right? It should be Wednesday of the next week. Little He Qing nodded. Well, if the plan remains unchanged then we travel for a week. The last day will be my birthday. I was planning to give you something, but after thinking about it, there's nothing good to give. You can think about what you need these days, and I will fulfill one of your wishes. This wish can be to do something or to have anything. It's all fine, really? Then I will think about it carefully. Lin's Hangren felt that this girl was the easiest to talk to among the three little ones. It seemed that no matter what he said, her tone was full of joy. The same goes for gifts. In the past, whatever Lin's Hangren gave her on her birthday, Zio He Qing would be very happy and treasure it. A few years ago, Lin's Hangren even deliberately picked a leaf that was gnawed by insects on the roadside and handed it to her as a birthday gift. This is this year's gift. I thought Zio He Qing would be a little disappointed, so that when the real gift was taken out, she would be happy because of the first impression before the praise. Who knew that after seeing the broken leaf, Zio He Qing was actually happy and took it with both hands carefully, a leaf gnawed by insects. So beautiful. Thank you, Lin's Hangren, I will treasure it. I like it so much. This caused Lin's Hangren to not know what to give, because no matter what he gave, she would be so happy that she would jump up. Lin's Hangren slowly let go of He Qing. Then I'm leaving? You should go back too. Zio He Qing looked at him reluctantly and let go of him obediently, but still uttered, the hug was so short, less than 2 minutes. Lin's Hangren helplessly stretched out his hand again. Then hugged for another 3 minutes, to make it 5 minutes. Little He Qing happily threw herself into his arms again, as cute and obedient as a docile, snow-white little rabbit. Wenwen and Lily on the second floor were jealous again. After hugging for 5 minutes, Little He Qing shyly waved at Lin's Hangren at the intersection. Go slowly on your way home. Be careful. Lin's Hangren also replied in the car. Go upstairs. Little He Qing nodded. Go slowly. After watching Lin's Hangren disappear at the end of the road, Little He Qing turned around and returned to the hotel with satisfaction. He smiled foolishly. After returning home tonight, Lin's Hangren stayed in the bedroom after dinner. He began to study how to solve this problem. He made a list of all the medical skills he could find about cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases and sent it to Pan Lin. Pan Lin was shocked when she saw the densely packed names of the books, but she didn't say it was difficult to find them. She just replied, I will find them as quickly as possible and send them to you. Lin's Hangren took advantage of this time to browse the medical books that could be searched on the internet. On the same night, in the villa area of Zidong City, a Rolls-Royce stopped at the door of a second-floor villa. Zhang Jingxi, wearing a women's suit and high heels, got out of the car slowly. She adjusted her breathing lightly. At least before Lin's Hangren came out with the results, she didn't intend to let her family know about this annoying thing. Entering the house, she saw that the living room was already full of people. Father, mother, grandfather, Zhang Jin and Fang Meng standing next to Zhang Jin were all there. As soon as Zhang Jingxi came in, she knew that there would be a big meeting at home tonight. Gentle Eyes with a smile, Grandpa, Mom and Dad, are you all here? Jiang's father was still very proud of his eldest daughter. Zhang Jingxi's achievements over the years were visible to the naked eye, and she also created a new company with others and developed it to a certain scale. Father Zhang said, Jingxi is back? Sit down. We are going to have a family meeting today. Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin sat on the same sofa. It was only when the two sisters sat together that others realized that although the two sisters looked quite similar, Their temperaments were completely different. Father Zhang first asked Grandpa if he had anything to say, but Grandpa shook his head. Father Zhang spoke directly, "Since Kaianqian and Jingxi are here, I will make a long story short. I plan to let Kaianqian officially join the Zhang group from today and completely take over my work within 5 years. Does anyone have any ideas? You can all say it. The reason why the Zhang family has been able to have a certain status in Zidong City for so many years is that there is a great advantage within the family, that is unity. For example, this is almost related to the issue of inheritance and property. Although Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin usually stumble, they have no idea of conflict at this time. It seems that neither of them cares so much about this matter. After all, this is not about snatching Lin's Hengren. Zhang Jingxi even took the initiative to say, "I strongly support letting Kaianqian take over the main work of the Zhang group in the future, and I will voluntarily take fewer shares of the group and give more to Kaianqian. After all, I have my own things to do now. Since I can't focus all my attention on the group, it is only right that I take less." Zhang Jin, "No, my sister and I should still take half as we agreed before. For the sake of fairness, you don't have to be polite, sister." Zhang Jingxi smiled, "I'm not polite, I'm just telling the truth. If the shares are reduced, the work I will be responsible for will also be reduced. What I need now is time. I believe father should know best that I can't handle both sides. After all, what I want most now is not the shares and the status of the group, but him. I have a cold and I will try to update a few hundred more words in each chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224, Son-in-Law. After some discussion, Jiang's father also analyzed the situations in which the two sisters were suitable. It was finally determined that Zhang Jin would account for a larger proportion of the group shares in the next 5 years, about 40% or more, and Zhang Jingxi would account for 30%. Zhang Jin will also serve as the general manager of the Zhang group in the future. But as compensation for Zhang Jingxi, the two sisters also signed an agreement that if the elders abdicate in the future, and when this Hangxi company founded by the elder sister Zhang Jingxi is in urgent need of money, Zhang Jin must unconditionally provide financial assistance to the other company. And a minimum amount is set that cannot be refused. The two sisters both agreed with this proposal, but when signing, Zhang Jingxi mentioned, "Dad, can I also reduce my recent workload?" Jiang's mother nodded. If Jingxi is really too busy recently, she can hand over part of the work to Kaianqian first and let her take over part of it. Okay. After signing, it was much smoother than expected. Grandpa laughed. "I thought this meeting would be difficult to hold, but after all, they are sisters. Jingxi and Kaianqian are very polite in this regard. You know, the heirs of other families may fight each other for a little profit. Although you two usually quarrel with each other, you are very good at this time." Father Zhang took the agreement and said, "I will keep this agreement. It is settled. You two sisters cannot regret it in the future." Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi nodded without hesitation. "Mother Zhang, then your father and I have something else to do, so we will leave first. We will not stay here. You two should rest early." "Dad will stay here too," Grandpa nodded. "I will stay here tonight." The two sisters and grandfather went out to see Jiang's father and mother off, but when they arrived at the door of the villa, Jiang's mother suddenly took Zhang Jingxi away alone. Zhang Jingxi was puzzled. "What's wrong, Mom?" Jiang's mother asked in a low voice. "I want to ask you a private question, daughter. How is work between you and that guy going lately?" Zhang Jingxi answered honestly, "It's very good." "Why ask about it secretly? Can't you just ask openly?" Although Jiang's mother is middle-aged, her experience of struggling when she was young has made her quite experienced. "Don't you understand what Mom means? You think it's good this way? You won't change it in the future?" "I'm talking about the distribution issue." Zhang Jingxi realized that her mother was talking about the issue of shares between her and Lin Hengren. She smiled helplessly. "Very good, didn't I tell you? Since the establishment of this company, I have only been responsible for managing the company and publicity, but the most important thing is to improve the level of employees. It was him who doubled the profit, and only he could do it. I think it's good for me to get 40% of the shares, and it's fair for Lin Hengren to get 60%. Why do you make yourself sound so worthless? After all, Your foundation was used when Shangxi Company was founded, and your connections are also very important during the development period. Zhang Jingshi didn't understand, and said gently, Mom, it's important to have connections to start a company, but isn't it more important to have people who can make the company profitable with their own strength? How many rich second generations lost money when starting a company? Do you know how many times our company's profits have increased in recent years? If it weren't for him, would Shangxi Company have developed into what it is today in just 2 years? Besides, when you and my dad founded the group, you both contributed money and incurred debts together, so didn't you have less shares than Dad? Weren't you willing to do that? It's because my dad is more capable than you. Jiang's mother smacked her lips. That's because your dad and I are husband and wife. I have less than him because I'm his wife, and your dad and I are in the same group. What's the difference between more and less? Zhang Jingshi followed up and said, then Lin Suhengren and I are also. The mother and daughter looked at each other, and Jiang's mother smiled. Are you two together now? Zhang Jingshi was speechless, feeling that she had fallen into her mother's trap, her cheeks slightly red. I really admire you. I don't know whether it is successful or not. Anyway, I think the shares are quite reasonable. I am willing. Jiang's mother was puzzled. What do you mean you don't know whether it is successful or not? Don't you know whether you two are together or not? I know my daughter is not stupid. She will not give most of the shares to others for no reason. You and Kaiankian are both smart people. To put it bluntly, you originally think that you and Lin Suhengren are in the same group, so let alone 60%, you would be willing to give him 100%, right? Anyway, your heart has already gone to him. Zhang Jingshi didn't say anything. Jiang's mother poked Zhang Jingshi's head with her hand. You are really brave. Zhang Jingshi still didn't say anything. Jiang's mother said, you haven't even married yet, but it's as if you're already his. You secretly started a company with your dad behind my back, and secretly confirmed the shares with him. You're really daring to gamble. Zhang Jingshi whispered, my mom and I are the same. Doing business is the same as choosing a man. We both gamble on our own vision. Don't doubt a person if you don't use him. And Lin Suhengren has indeed created a miracle. My dad did the same back then. Your dad is not as good as Lin Suhengren. When your dad and I started our business, we really went through wind and rain. We almost went bankrupt several times. But looking at Lin Suhengren, during this time, your dad and I have also investigated the development history of your company. This Lin Suhengren is really a rare genius. He is proficient in everything and can solve all kinds of problems. At the same time, he has a first-class teaching ability. He has a good vision at a young age and is decisive. The most powerful people in starting a business are this kind of people. While they are powerful themselves, they can also drive the team to become stronger. In addition, you are his virtuous wife, provide him with some connections, and help him stabilize the company. You two are of one mind. It would be strange if you don't make money. Jiang's mother let out a long sigh, with some envy on her face. If your father could be so capable, would I have to give him advice and fear all day long? Don't look at him as the chairman now, he is actually just a half-baked person. Zhang Jingshi whispered back, you are the only one who says that about my father, Jiang's mother, but to be honest, the most feared thing about starting a business together is the internal conflict of interest between the founders. Even the best company will be ruined in that way. But you two can get along so well. I have never seen such a thing except in family. Jiang's mother looked at her eldest daughter. By the way, you didn't answer me just now. Did you and him succeed? Zhang Jingshi actually didn't know whether she was his girlfriend now, although that incident happened in the car in the afternoon. But even if she really became his person, she always felt that something was missing. The peach blossom eyes looked away. Don't ask. By the way, he told me today that he might come to our house for dinner in a while, but he's not sure when. Jiang's mother smiled. Really? Lin Suhengren is coming over for dinner? Okay, when? Your dad and I will check the time. We have to meet our son-in-law. Mom still admires this young man very much? And your dad and I have checked his identity and background. Although his family background is not as good as ours, he has the friendship of your grandfather's generation. Moreover, this kind of genius will definitely have unlimited potential in the future with a little help. The fact that you two are engaged as children is a heaven-sent fate. Zhang Jingshi frowned and reminded, what? He came because of the company's business. Didn't you always say that you wanted to meet him before? I told him, and I said he might not come at a certain time. I'll tell you when it's decided. Jiang's mother nodded. I know. Then we can talk about your two matters and the company's matters together. We are all family. So these things will be easier to handle. Zhang Jingshi was embarrassed and speechless. I really admire you. Do you have anything else to say? Jiang's mother didn't answer, but immediately said, oh, there is one more thing. Your father and I heard recently that Qian also has a crush on someone at school. Did you check? What's his name? What's his identity? How far have they developed? Zhang Jingshi blinked her beautiful eyes. How do you and my father know everything? Chapter 225 Genius. That's right, Jiang's mother said, as a matter of course, Mom only has you and Qian as my two treasures. When have I not remembered you since you were young? It's just that the company is busy recently and I don't have time, otherwise I would have asked someone to investigate the person Qian likes. She looked at her eldest daughter and continued, Mom heard that you went to investigate, so I was relieved and didn't care. So what is the boy's name? What is his family background and status? Zhang Jingshi turned around and glanced at Zhang Jin in the distance. The cold Zhang Jin was also looking here, with a meaningful look in her eyes. Zhang Jingshi raised the corners of her mouth to cover for her sister and herself. It's hard for me to say about this matter. At least I'm not sure that Qian likes him. According to the information I know, Qian's academic performance was not as good as his when the school started, and her sports performance was crushed by him. So she wanted to defeat him and noticed him. As for whether it can be considered as love, at least when I asked her some time ago, she told me that she didn't like him, but just cared about him. It might just be a misunderstanding. Jiang's mother's eyes were sharp, as if thinking, is that so? Zhang Jingshi nodded. I told the truth, not a single lie. She had a clear conscience, because when she asked Zhang Jin whether she liked Lin Suhengren some time ago, she did say so. Jiang's mother nodded. Okay, I still believe you. With Qian's personality, who do you think she would like? To be honest, I find it a little hard to imagine. Let's put this aside for now. The main thing is about you and Lin Suhengren. When he confirms the date to be at our house, your father Qian, your grandfather and I should all be there. We will have dinner together then. So formal. Nonsense. How can your father and I not treat it formally when someone comes to our house for the first time? As she was talking, Zhang Jingshi suddenly felt dizzy. Jiang's mother quickly supported her. What's wrong, Jingshi? What's wrong with you? Zhang Jingshi thought it was that illness again. After standing firm, she replied awkwardly, nothing, I guess I'm just too tired recently, a little dazed. Jiang's mother's tone became concerned. Well, you are really too tired to consider both sides. It will be easier when Qian takes over some of your work in a while. They chatted briefly for a while. Jiang's mother and Zhang Jingshi returned to the door again. Father Zhang had already got into the car. Mother Zhang turned around and looked at her eldest daughter, youngest daughter and grandfather in the distance. Jingshi Qian, and Dad, go back to your room early. We are leaving, the two sisters said in unison. Mom and Dad, drive slowly. The driver closed the car door for the two of them and drove away into the distance. In the car, Jiang's father asked softly, how did the questioning go? Jiang's mother sat next to her husband and smiled. It seems to be successful. Judging from Jingshi's tone, there is at least a hint of love between the two of them. How come there is only a hint? Jiang's father frowned. I have investigated everything this kid did. He is a pure genius with such strong abilities. We can't let him get away with such a good son-in-law. We must definitely let Jingshi get him. With him, our Zhang family will be even more powerful. Jiang's mother clicked her tongue and eyed her husband. What you said is really heartless. Business is business, and feelings are feelings. Even if Lin Suhengren is capable, shouldn't he consider Jingshi's opinion on this matter? They have to like each other to be together. If Jingshi doesn't like him, they can't be forced to be together no matter how capable he is. After that, she rolled her eyes at him. Look how snobbish you are. Is there any father like you? Father Zhang was helpless and said at a loss for words. Why am I snobbish? I said this because I know Jingshi likes that boy, otherwise how could I say that? Aren't our two precious daughters what I care about the most? Won't such a big family business be left to them? Mother Zhang snorted, but admitted, but to be honest, he is so talented at such a young age, and everyone would be envious. Jingshi said that he might come to our house for dinner in a while, so we must meet him properly then. He wants to be a guest. Great, I have long wanted to meet this young man. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.